Hello, people. How much hours you have spent this week going through Johnny versus Amber, and how many times you find out the makeup, the clothing, what they're talking, you don't have any freaking idea. You know what happened? Nobody tell you the pre, during, and post of a trial. Hi, my name is Susan Ivitz. I'm a human behavior hacker. Some people hack computers. I hack humans, and I have my business partner in crime. Elba, how you doing?
Great, everyone. And yes, like you said, my name is Elba Uribe. I'm a human behavior hacker too, and I am the CEO of Latin America.
Do you know why Amber didn't wear makeup when she get on the stand? Did you know that we knew that she's going to be testifying that day because she didn't wear any makeup? Do you know why is wrong with her clothing, her makeup? What is wrong or right with Johnny Depp makeup? What is wrong with the expert testifying where they kill it and where they get called? What is wrong with the lawyers? What is right with the lawyers? Everybody talking about body language, microexpression, but nobody explain you how actually you are on the Johnny versus Amber movie without paying a ticket. This is a show, and we bring experts today to show you how you actually are in the weird movie. And to start with the show, we bring our dear friend Eric Hunley only to have coffee and talk about what the heck is going on with this trial. Hi, Eric. How are you doing? Thank you for being our guest today. I feel like the roles are changed, and we are live. I'm gonna say it.
Awesome. Good to see you. Happy to be here. Happy to see you all growing up and being the host now.
It feels weird. I always your guest, and I enjoy that so much. But today we're going to talk about something different. Even though, not offense, you're not an expert in any of the parts of the Depp hurt case. You're an expert and bring expert to talk about it. And I love your approach and honesty, where to say things that most people is afraid to say on the media, and you put it out there and you take the risk to be canceled and blocked, and you put it out there. So Depp case, what is your perception for all the people you have been talking and the feedback that you have from your audience, the what's going on? What kind of case are we talking about here?
I think the whole Johnny Depp case is weird. And the problem is that Johnny Depp, through his divorce, his reputational problems, and the Washington Post editorial, had his career smashed because of it coinciding with the MeToo movement. He's suffered serious harm to his reputation and has lost all kinds of gigs, or has not been hired for gigs that he might have been hired for. It's really hard to quantify because I'm not expert in that arena, but I do think his reputation has been harmed. And to get it back, now this is where it gets really tricky, because he is suing Amber Heard for defamation for writing a Washington Post editorial about being the face of domestic abuse 2 years prior, which implied it was Johnny Depp. She actually never said it was Johnny Depp, but anybody with a half a brain knows that, yes, this is Johnny Depp. The people who count, who interpret it, who hire him, fire him, whatever, they all knew it was Johnny Depp. All of a sudden, he's out of Fantastic Beasts. All of a sudden, he's only getting indie type projects. He's severely damaged. Oh, and Pirates Caribbean 6 is canceled. All these are problems. Now, where this gets weird is Amber Heard has been writing for a while saying, I'm abused, I'm abused, I'm abused. And there are very serious questions on who was actually abused. And Johnny Depp isn't just claiming she abused him. He does have witnesses and proof, and some of it is Amber Heard's words herself on a recording saying, you tell that to a jury, Johnny Depp. Let's see if they believe you. That is very damning stuff. But it's a defamation trial. So what I feel is happening, and talking to all the lawyers that I always have on or whatever, is Johnny Depp could not just sit there and take that article, and he could not just lose his career. He was already losing all of his money. He's losing all of his parts and things. So that means he is starting at a negative. What do you do to regain your reputation? What do you do to get your career back? Well, you go after the person who said it. Well, how is he going to do that? He could try writing an op-ed, maybe, whatever. Is that going to go anywhere, especially with the current climate of, politics? Maybe, maybe not. But by going to the courts and suing her, and he had to have a reason to sue her, right? He couldn't just say, can't sue her for fraud. What are you going to sue her for? So he's suing her for defamation. And he's using this case to argue his story, in my opinion. I think that it's not about the money. It's about his reputation. And he did say, so his kids can hear his side. So people can hear it. Doesn't matter if he actually gets his 50 million or $1. I will make a bet right now. If his case holds up, even no matter the outcome, if he looks the same as he does right now, his career is 100% restored and actually will probably be accelerated. I think that there is such a backlash and such a groundswell of support that he's the underdog. People are cheering for him, and movies will try to cast him just to get his name in the movie because butts will go in the seat just to prove they're supporting this guy. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and it's how funny that the ops came on the Washington Post on May 27, 2016, the same day he was releasing Alice through the looking glass, just the same day. She's not mentioned, like you says, Johnny Depp, but after that, his career went down. Mm-hmm. And like you says, I think more this is coming with the MeToo movement. If a woman says that something happened, nobody question it. Remember when Lorena Bobbitt happened? It was, I think it was on the 90s. And like, no, she cannot be doing that. Women are the victim. And I know I'm going to put my foot on this, so I take responsibilities. But when a woman questions someone about domestic abuse or abuse, nobody questions the male. But when a male does it, male doesn't have the same priorities to be defendant or say their word. So I think this is going to be a good question too. We need to look deeper. That we have cases proven that happened. And the Me movement has helped a lot of females to come up, LGTB, a lot of things, not only females, to come up under the rock. But we need to start questioning because you say it on the media or you accuse someone. We need to be more careful to look between the lines because you can destroy somebody's career. I know people who have committed suicide, get divorced, and they lost their jobs and their position because somebody just accused you. And in politics, it says, I don't need you to prove that I'm wrong. I just want to see you to questioning.
Yes, and I would go further, though, and say she is potentially, if this is proven against her, see, I'm getting that legalese in there, despicable in her actions, because it is not only harming Johnny Depp, it is actually harming the entire Me Too movement. Mm-hmm. It is a case to where it will cause people, when they hear about another victim, a true victim, to suspect it. And as an example, and by the way, this is already happening in the public eye. You can see it happening. Marilyn Manson is under some scrutiny right now. And it is another Me Too situation. And early on, it was pretty much, Marilyn Manson's not, you don't want to be Marilyn Manson in a case like this. It's kind of like being Ron Jeremy or, it's like, you already have this image, this darkness image and all that. That's not helpful. However, with this going on right now, especially since he's Johnny's friend, I think people are starting to go, I wonder if that's true. I wonder if he has a case. And by the way, I don't know the case at all, but I do see a perception shift already happening here. So Amber Heard, if she lied, and it appears she very well may have lied, has done damage to his reputation. She has done damage to the Me Too movement. She has done damage to potential victims out there everywhere. And again, that's despicable.
what is the testimony you like the most and the one who you like the less?
I haven't been able to catch everything. I think that obviously Johnny Depp's testimony was quite remarkable to watch. I liked his friend, Isaac Baruch, who was very, very funny. There's also I don't know who he was, but he was a guy who was vaping in his car.
Oh my God, that was I think it was a bodyguard, somebody
He's a doorman or something. I think
he was driving, vaping. Is I think that put a cause of humor in this situation.
But also integrity. It's just kind of he gave the vibe of, oh my God, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And he even said that I'm over it. It's 2 years. Stop, leave me alone. That I thought was remarkable. One thing I noticed about this case is that Johnny Depp's staff seems to stick around. And I don't see a lot of people now. Defense has not launched yet.
No,
don't know. He could have many, people who have a grudge at one point or another, but all the security guards seem to be there for like 9 years, 16 years, 20 years, really long-term employees and a lot of long-term people. And that actually makes, it bodes well to me in terms of witness testimony that
it's more consistency on his character. Like, he does drug party, he drink too much, he pass out. But even though people he worked with, it wasn't needed to go on the media and says we vouch Johnny personality and how caring and how respectful, and all his ex-partners has been talking about how he caring and sweet. Even her assistant, the one who testified, like, oh my God, that was the funniest testimonies of all, saying that Johnny Depp, like when he was dressing with his character, he spent time with the kid, he was kind, he was nice, and she was mean, like spitting in my face 4 feet away. Like, it's a consistency, even though with people who is bringing to help her, is helping in him. Yes,
and that's something that I think does stand out a lot. You do the body language and everything, but I always try to, listen for the dog who didn't bark. Try to listen between the lines. What's the old saying? Or thing, female, women, if you go out and date somebody, or anybody, if you go out and date somebody, see how they treat the staff. Okay. That's going to tell you everything. And it's a rule in life. And you could take it right here, potentially with Amber Heard, because the staff don't like her. I haven't seen anybody come out in the press and say, I've been best friends with Amber Heard for years and years and years. She's always been amazing and sweet, and I don't understand what's going. Nothing. She had to fire her PR team this weekend. Why? Well, dude, where are you people?
She didn't like the way she was portrayed.
So get out there, get the message. That's what I'm saying. Why isn't she out there? Why wasn't she doing interviews? Why wasn't she soft pedaling it? She dresses like a freaking vampire queen in the trial, which is not helpful. Being a dominatrix just helps people visualize, oh yeah, she could beat him up. I could see that. Doesn't help. She looks
so stoic and so detached. He was talking about she threw in a bottle, showing the videos with the circumstances. It's no emotion. Like when you get so detached from emotions, people start calculating. They're a calculated person, and you couldn't have done that. It's what they did with her face. She's so froze from emotions. Then I don't know when she need to be crying on the stand and talking about how emotional was the situation. Her face is not going to be coordinating.
Johnny was deceptive at many points during his testimony.
Yeah.
He was not 100% innocent here. I think overall he stated his case well, but there were serious, there were real hedges in there, a real deception in there, especially dealing with his substance abuse problem. Yeah. Now, I don't know that that's specifically related, and in many ways I find it irrelevant, but I think he's a very serious chronic addict who has a giant problem, and he's not dealing with it very well. That doesn't mean about him beating her. I'm just stating he is being deceptive at those points, in my opinion. Amber Heard is copying Johnny Depp's wardrobe and style every day. It's very creepy. That kind of leads into some. It was the show that you did with Greg. Is it okay? Well, well, it could have been that. My statement though is that Amber Heard is copying the wrong person. Amber Heard needs to be copying, and I think she did today. I think she needs to be copying Johnny's lawyer. not Johnny.
Did you
His
see
lawyer, because
we
she's
did-
an attractive female with a professional outfit who's not too sexy to make women jealous, but looks attractive to make men want to be around her. She's dressed perfectly, Johnny's lawyer. And I'm like, copy her.
You see the relationship. We did a video last week, and how is the interaction with Johnny with the lawyer, and what is the interaction of Amber with the lawyer? Actually, when she came to the court, she was about to kiss him, and she didn't even touch him and put the hands to put it away. And he walked between the lawyers and sat by herself like stoic. Johnny Depp talked to them, laugh, they have a conversation, they have the feet, they have the body facing each other. She faced stoic watching the wall, and that is not good. And her lawyers are running like chicken without head all the time, bringing paper, flighting papers. It's not good for the perception on the media. Like they don't have the thing together. Like, dude, you don't need to be doing during the proceedings. You need to be doing that before and showing court that you have your things together. That's what the lawyers are doing on the Johnny Depp case. And I agree. She's mirroring the wrong person. She's impersonating the wrong person. And she looks so different between the media exposure. When you have a case when the person doesn't have any media exposure besides Instagram or Facebook, it's not a problem. But she have a persona on the media. If you are opposite 180 degrees from what has been perceived in the media, you are who you are. You're not defending who you are. You're defending actions they're tell against you. If you change that much, you are perceived as fake, even first impression. The jurors are not waiting for the testimony. They're calculating what is going to be the verdict every second. From the 12 jurors you have, at least one is going to be watching you. One, when they need to go to the session and determine and says, well, the day two, she did this and this and this. So it's going to happen. She is completely disaligned with what are the perception to be likable and report. He was supposed to be the crazy one all over the place. He was calm, explaining, talking about emotions, and his coherence with the language is likable, is funny, is Johnny Depp. You like it or not, he is who he is.
Yes, and you are right on that. She is isolated on her side. You will notice that Johnny always has somebody sitting next to him and feels like he's part of the group, whereas Amber Heard, all of her, there's a distance there. And you had mentioned before, she's very much almost regally sitting there. And she has that quality. It does not help her. You know, that RB, you know, resting bitch face or whatever, RBF. She just does not feel warm, personable in any way, any shape. And it's very easy to just put the role on her. If she dresses harsh, she looks like she can hit him. He is doing a much better job. Everybody, again, he's Johnny Depp, but he's, you know, the court reporter. He always says, hi, Elaine, every morning, or whoever it is. And you can see, and he's smiling, you know, to different people. He's very, very warm and personable, as you stated. And it's easy to like him. And even during his testimony, he's like, oh, bless you. You know, somebody sneezing out there or whatever. And he was funny. You know, he got a little combative sometimes, but in general, he was pretty funny.
Neither passive aggressive or aggressive way. He always was Johnny Depp, a little that introvert, shy guy who can be funny and get involved on this story. Eric, anything else that you're going to add on this? Because I think if Amber does Amber on her testimony, even though you're going to need a miracle, but media-wise, I think that the strategy from Johnny Depp team or himself to get this in court and televised was brilliant. That is what called crisis management 101. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I think he's got it.
Okay, Eric, thank you very much. All the links for all the shows. How many shows you have now, Eric?
3.
Wow. How I do once a week and I cannot put a...
I don't know. It's a rather manic situation for sure.
Eric, again, thank you very much for this conversation. I know that you were super, super busy. There are 2 things that I want to say, and I'm going to take the responsibility on this conversation. First, when we have the Mollett case here in Chicago, when he accused two people of aggression against him, the first thing who came to my mind was how much damage he had done to the Black Lives Matter. Because now every time there's something happened, people is going to recall like, what about it? Jesse Mollett lied about it. Doesn't matter what happened in this case with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. If she is proven to be lie, if she's proven the ops that she published on the Washington Post was a lie, how much damage this is going to do to the Me Too movement. So when these things happen, I don't want to go to the media and like start posting on the media things where I think no, concretely, and you can attack me. I'm just trying to give a way that you think outside the box for a moment and think and how much damage this trial make. I do know that a lot of people maybe gonna be coming forward their own views, no matter the gender, the race, or your age. But my concern is how much this trial is gonna be a precedent from people who want to present a real case. And they says, well, if Amber Heard lie, you can be lying too. Elba, do you have any opinion? Because I don't want to put you in my mouth. This is my personal opinion, Susan Ivitz.
No, yeah, I agree with you. And you know what? It's funny because even can happen to in my country, Guatemala, because I think in some point they didn't think that he's going to say, I have the abuse too, because people doesn't believe you. It's like people don't believe you because it's a man telling that. And I remember that once I was so close to a divorce, and not mine, my cousin, but and we went to the trails and things in the courts, and there was a man just crying. And I remember his face and I remember what he said. And he said, she is beating me. And the woman said, I cannot believe you because you are a man. And I was like, really? Things like that can happen. So I think, yes, I think with when you lie about so important things and with this kind of movement, it's hard to have credibility.
Yeah. And at this point, let's put it this way. Let's see what happened in the next 2-3 weeks. But I feel like this point, we are in a line that is a green or yellow line, whatever you want to say it, where we still cannot establish who is the aggressor and who's the victim, who's acting and who's reacting. So we're going to need to listen a little more. And at the end, we're going to talk with Natalie Harris, the lawyer that we have, the expert today, who specializes in media and defamation, where this is not about the law. The lawyers make a really compelling case to take this to the law. But I think what Johnny Depp did is where he was defamated, when he was destroyed, he's put in the scene. This is the new screen for Johnny Depp to show that he didn't do it, that he's a good character. In the media, he's winning. Now, my concern is the jury is going to attach what the judge says. Do not Google, do not go to the media. Come on, they're going to have a week. They have family, they have friends. They're going to be talking about it. So when they see that he is more likable on the media, when they see that people is attacking her and not him, I'm really afraid of bias. Again, I'm not talking about favor and against anyone. I'm talking about the law. But because this today is special, and the reason we do it on Friday to have all the recall for everything that happened this week is because what we do is we prepare lawyers, witnesses, clients, and experts to testify in court. And we're going to talk about the two psychologists and what they did wrong and what they did right. But at the end of the day, one of them was extremely biased, and instead to help the case, damage it more than it should. Elba?
Yes, I agree with you. I think we can prepare like the lawyers, we can prepare everyone there, but you need to be prepared, because when you are not prepared, you can see these kind of things during this trial, and it's like, really? But you didn't supposed to say that, or you didn't supposed to do that. So yeah, I agree with you.
You were supposed to be ready. What we showed last week, that we're not going to show it again, so you can see the show last week, is how the lawyers look so disrupted all over the place. doesn't look good. Remember, this is a worldwide televised. I was talking with our office in Europe, and they says, "Oh, everybody's stuck to the monitor. Like, what, guys? What are you doing? Like, watching the trial." We talk with our people in Latin America, and with you, everybody's watching the trial.
Yeah.
So we have two jurors. The media, who's watching you, media is the audience and the journalists commenting, and you have the jurors. So when you are all over the place, when you're not connecting with your lawyers, people perceive that, and that is a perception people is going to have about you.
Yeah. And you know what? Talking about the team, the lawyers, it was funny because you are going to see when we go with the show, the pictures of dressing and things. I was reviewing each day of the first part, because I didn't watch it again. The first part of each day of in court, and it's funny how the lawyers behave in a different way. Every time that the Amber lawyers go, it's like crazy. They go like doing things at the last time, and Johnny Depp lawyers, they're calm. They just go, they laugh,
they show like they have done the work. They have done
yes.
the work, they're well prepared, and they're ready to go. And on Amber deposition yesterday, I was seeing that even though when they were over the pictures, like the big moment when Amber Heard was testifying about how horrible, how she was walking over glass, everything that was broken, there were evidence picture missing. Like, come on. They couldn't find the evidence picture. Guys, those are the kind of things who make you look like you don't have your things together. And it's nothing. I understand mistake happen, and this is a big trial, but I was doing numbers today. This is a lawsuit. It's going to cost each team around $10 million in fees and expert and prep. Because remember, this didn't start today. This started years ago until finally it's in court. So I cannot imagine how much money involved. So get your things together, guys. You were prepared for this.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to our show. So if you like what you see, we will love for you to subscribe. We have a special information for our newsletter subscriber, information that we do not divulge on the media, because we appreciate it so much that you give us your email. We're going to give you special things, like you're going to have how to spot a narcissist and face reading, how we can help you, the live webinar. The next week, if our first live webinar, we move it. Why? Who's coming next week?
Me.
Why are you wearing a red t-shirt? What is your red t-shirt says?
Because it's from the Chicago Bulls. So I'm getting in the mood, because next week I go with you.
So our first monthly webinar, how we can help you when you can jump for an hour and ask whatever you want. Is no membership, no hiding fees. Elva and I, we're going to be there for you. We're going to do it together. And actually, the next week's show that we're going to be talking about Elon Musk, we're going to be doing the face reading of Elon Musk. Elva and I, we're going to do it together. And because we are coming to the studio on Wednesday late, this next show is going to be on Thursday. Another thing that you have in the newsletter is icebreakers. And now that we're coming back to do meetings in person, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know how to interact with others in person. We become this like, what is going on? I should shake your hand. No. So we're going to giving you icebreakers delivered to your mailbox. And the last part that I think most people is excited is now you can be part of our beta tester classes. By the way, it's a go. July 4, Richard, Harry, and myself and us is gonna, because we're gonna have so many parts. So it's Richard, Harris, myself, and our team, and you, Elva. We're going to explain later. We're going to launch sales and behavioral, sales intelligence, our first sales and behavioral training. We are so excited. Richard and I, we were really working really hard. You, Elva, are compiling all the information. I don't know what I would do without you. And we haven't decided what part of the class you're going to be training on. We're going to talk about it. So remember to register. You're going to see the link below. if we promise it's going to be one mail a week. It's only to simplify so you have all the information on your mailbox. Yes, we're going to be talking about the show. We're going to give you all the information. We're not going to use it to bombard it. I hate when somebody asks me for my email and suddenly I have 5 emails a day. No funny. No funny. Okay. Happy dance. What we're going to be talking here. I can see the reflection on my new glasses, big glasses. I have few colors. So in July 2016, just happened the same time that the first op of Heather Amber was on the media. She was told by Dr. Julian De Silva in London, who's a plastic surgeon, that based on the golden radio, Greek-based number P or 1.68, she have a perfect face. And we talked with Eric Hunley and a recording that we did on last Monday, that she doesn't have near what is a perfect face. And Elba and I, we come out with the idea to talk. We're going to do a special when this craziness finished about all the faces there has been considering perfect faces on the golden ratio. What we're going to do is we're going to do the symmetry. We're going to use the same measurement they use to show you neither of these people, neither of these ladies have a perfect face. We don't take away they can be super sexy and attractive, but they don't have a perfect face. So when we do symmetry, and I know it look weird when we do the symmetry, and I'm moving the box, so I'll keep looking that way when the camera's here. What's going on with these faces? And to make it easy, because when we divide it another way, Elba and I, we give you a hard time understanding what happened with the face, is the right side of your screen is the personal side with the heart, and the left side of the screen is the business side. What we did is we take the line the Dr. Silva used, we cut it, we duplicate it and mirror it. So now you have 2 right faces and 2 left faces. And I talk a lot. My nose is watery. So Elba, it's all yours. First one is yours.
Yeah. Thank you. Now we can see how the two sides of the face. Now they talk about she has the most perfect nose and chin. And if we can see here, you can see both pictures, both sides. She's not having the perfect nose. Why? Because in her business side, it's smaller, really small, meaning that she works a lot. She's about by doing the work and things, but it's not the same in her personal. In her personal is more the style. It's more the glamorous. It's more the
shiny ball syndrome and money. I want money and the shiny ball syndrome. I go behind things that are shiny and I present myself in a shiny, more exposed. I would say self-care and showing. I don't want to use the word narcissist because I have a bad rap, but in more an exposure way that look how good I am. But in her business side has nothing to do with that.
No. And when we were talking about this and I saw the face, I was like, really? What they talk about the perfect nose? It's not the perfect nose. If she has a perfect nose, it should be a coherence between the 2 sides, but it's totally different.
And okay, I'm gonna start with, like, you point so many things, so I'm gonna let you finish with the chin, and we're gonna start talking about all the differences and why, based on the University of Edinburgh, beside another studies done. Remember, this study was done for 93 years. They followed 292 people for 93 years. Longest study on the story of humanity and behavior done ever. Obviously, different teams follow with this research, but because only one team cannot do it, but it's amazing. More asymmetric, more difference you have between one side of your face and the other part of your face, more volatile and unstable you are. And we talked about this last week, that people get so fascinated. And because now she's the one who is on the depot, we're going to go for the chin is yours, my love.
Yeah, you can see the chin. It's not the same. even it's you can see it's more like it's smaller that in her business side, and if it should be like coherent, like more like to be like the same in both sides. So
let's clarify something so people don't get confused.
Yeah.
In her personal side, she had pointy chin. So
yes.
one thing is the size and another thing is the shape. Because if I see these pictures without untrained eyes, and Elba, you and I, we have the same problem. We've been doing this for so long that we forgot to explain and have people like, what are you talking about? That chin is like, I'm sorry, we're talking about the shapes and the size. So one thing is the shape, straight, round, and pointy, and another one is the size of the chin. So can be big and pointy and can be small and pointy. By the way, if you find somebody who has small pointy chin like she have on the personal side, run.
Yes, because the critics, no. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there, even to talk to them or they talk to me, because everything is going to be about critics and like really sensitive about that. So no. So this is how we can see that the faces, first, they are not symmetrical, and two, it's weird for me, because this is my opinion. I cannot like have it in my mind how you can put someone features and say this is a perfect feature, if when you divide it like we did, you cannot see the perfection there. So it's really having this in my mind like crazy, because it's not perfection here.
No.
Maybe like you said, yeah, maybe you look more sexy, you look more likable, but perfection?
When we talk about another show that we have planned on the back is how advertisement modify the faces. And we're going to go to Elba and I, we're going to go to a supermarket, even show you how the serial cartoon boxes are modified and they're putting on the shelf to sell you more. Advertisement, face reading, and behavior. Actually, you have Solomon, Dr. Solomon did a special with us that he had a really bad audio at that point. But if you can review that webinar we did, when he talked about commercial behavior and marketing behavior is using way more things that you can realize too. And we're going to talk about the study that Harvard did in 2001 about what are the things on the face that people perceive to be more attractive from the standpoint, from the behavioral standpoint, they're warning signs.
Yeah.
So let's recap, because today is not about only face reading. We're going to more concentrate, and today is going to be a long show. So stay with us. It's going to be a longer show than ever, but we're going to put everything before everybody else say it, because we find out other people is taking our material and say it. We are not famous, but somebody people take what we say. So we're going to go with the ratios and asymmetries, because we talked about these more specific last week. So go to the show last week. Forehead. Not only the length of the forehead, the shape of the forehead is different here. One type of forehead, different type, different length, different height, different hair shape, different eyebrows length, different eyebrows shape. The only thing she had really kind of similar is the eyelids. One is one on the higher ratio, another one is in the low ratio, but still they're super different. The distance between the eyes, the shape of the eyes, the lower eyelids, they're different. His is straight, his is round. On her personal life, she doesn't trust anyone who makes sense with what happened. When I don't trust you, I don't trust you. The nose is different. The cheeks, the tip of the nose, the nostril, this lip, this lip, this lip, this lip, the jaw, the jaws, no existent, the chin, shape and size. And you want to go to the ears, even though in this, on her personal side, you cannot see how stick out are the ears, are different. How many features we're talking about here? More than 15. You have a person who's going to be volatile and is going to be flipping One day is going to be the sweetest person and the next one is going to be like crazy. Elba?
Yes. You know what? I was thinking in one thing right now. I don't know in the States happen, but here in Guatemala, the newspapers has a part there then it's like for entertainment. They have a lot of things there, but they put like gossips and things. But they put one part and they tell you, look for the 5 difference between these 2 pictures. And right now, when we are talking about the symmetries, it look like that. Look the difference between these 2 pictures. So yeah.
Maybe we can do that before somebody else take our idea. Maybe we can start publishing pictures and says, tell me 5 difference between one side of the face. Okay, next week we're gonna start another homework. The team is gonna hate us. Every time that you and I we get together, we come up with new different things and like, you two cannot get together anymore. And after you coming here to the States for a long couple of weeks, I don't know what else we're gonna come up. So to understand, it's not bad to be asymmetric. All the faces are different. My face is different. Elba is different. Everybody in our team is different. Is the asymmetry, how many asymmetries you have and how they're combined. And in this case, it's not a good combination because even the white of the face is different. Only to clarify, we do not modify pictures. We don't Photoshop pictures. We just cut and mirrored and put it together. Because when we did the show with Eric, people like, oh, doesn't look good because the head is tilted. So that's where you're constructing the reality. Like, no, you can say whatever you want. I can prove you. Elba can prove you. We can prove you that this is not modified. Elba, anything else regarding this before we go into the lawyers?
No, let's go to the lawyers part.
Okay, somebody's too excited to go to the lawyers.
Yeah.
To show that you are not on the trial. Okay, before that, we so appreciated that you are here. We will love for you to subscribe and share, and don't forget to hit the bell because we're going to start having more videos in, I think by end of May, we're going to start recording more videos and we're going to have more material. Again, it takes a long time to produce all the material, do the show. You cannot understand. We haven't slept with Elba gathering all this material. So it will be a tremendous for us. We gain a lot of new subscribers. We have a goal by the end of the year to reach certain amount. So you have this information for free, like most of YouTubers. So work with us, help us to grow. We will love it. We appreciate it. So Google, if you're not in YouTube and you just landed here by mistake, look for Susan Ivets, a Human Behavior Lab. Again, subscribe, hit the bell, and we cannot wait to see you every week here. Now, we're going to talk about lawyers, and we're going to talk about the faces of the lawyers and how they interact between Amber and the lawyers and Johnny and the lawyers. But before, we have Natalie Harris. A huge shout out for Natalie because I lost electrical. We need to modify the date of the recording. She was like so cool to go over. And when everybody talk about defamation and like, oh, wait, now I'm going to make a defamation case against my ex. I'm going to make a defamation against somebody who tweets something about me. Mm-hmm. There are parameters about defamation that you can do. Why, how, why the jury is not showing, actually is by law. We talked with Natalie about all the things happening in this case, so we're not going to repeat what we're going to talk with her. I think it's a great interview. It's long, it's around 20 minutes. But if you want to understand why and how this is happening, pay attention. And the most important part, most people doesn't know that because we have the First Amendment in the United States, it's more difficult to sue a media outlet for ops of somebody else's writing, and why Johnny Depp team is not suing the Washington Post, but Johnny Depp sued the media outlet in UK, even though it wasn't the way he wanted to end. But we have certain constitutional rights and things in the United States who make it different with other places. Natalie Harry, you nailed it, girl. Thank you very much for being our expert today. we have our expert and everybody's talking about law and significant on the law, what happened on the court. But the truth to be told, a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. So what we do in our show is talk with the people who really know. Natalie, thank you for being with us, and tell us why you're an expert and what happened with defamation and the court today.
Sure. Well, thanks so much for having me, Susan. I appreciate it. Who am I and why am I here today is because I am a specialist in defamation defense litigation. So I've got a pretty narrow specialty. Of course, I do other things, but I focus a lot on defending publishers, broadcasters, others in media who find themselves in a position facing defamation lawsuits based on things that have been published in public. So obviously the world of defamation has gotten a lot sexier lately, if you will. I feel like everybody's talking about who's saying what, who's getting sued for what they say. I will say, clients are very much interested in our reviewing content ahead of time to avoid these situations. But obviously when you have a celebrity defamation trial going on, that's interesting to everybody. But, as you mentioned, a lot of people are paying attention to what's going on court TV and watching the testimony, but aren't particularly clear about how we got to this point.
You know about both the media circus that is happening now, because it's a circus. That's the reason we are attached to the monitor. Before I record with you, she was giving her first testimony was like this way. I'm like, what is wrong with me? And about defamation. So first of all, why somebody think they have the right to make a lawsuit on defamation? Because you can say whatever about me, but doesn't mean that I can take you to court.
Well, so that's a good point. And people often say, well, it's a free country, there's a First Amendment, there's free speech, I can say whatever I want. And for the most part, that's true. But every state has, this is a state-driven tort, every state has a statute or common law that defines what defamation is. So defamation can be either spoken or written, and it's defined as a false statement of fact. And that's really important. It's going to be important in this case in connection with why they didn't sue the media. So it can't be an opinion. You can't be sued for an opinion. And it has to be defamatory, which means that it has some harm to an individual's reputation. Traditionally, there are several categories of harm that are called defamatory per se, which is almost sort of an automatic assumption that if someone says something false about you that falls into one of these categories, then it's presumed to be harmful to your reputation. That includes being accused of a crime, being accused of being bad at what you do professionally, being accused of lacking integrity what you do professionally. There's some other categories too, but they're a little bit more archaic and aren't as common. Particularly in the Depp case, obviously what we're talking about is an alleged accusation of abuse. In other words, Amber Heard wrote in the Washington Post op-ed that she was a survivor of abuse. Interestingly here, she did not name him in the
I was about to say that.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't, okay, and during my marriage, she was actually in the filings for divorce or finalizing the divorce with him. First, second of all, she didn't mention him. So some people says, well, it's not defamation because she didn't mention him. She made it explicit, but explicit enough. So that is a yellow or gray line. We're like, okay, what was the legal aspect of that?
It's very interesting. So the legal concept that you're addressing is called of and concerning. That's how we talk about it when we're making the argument in a legal brief. And the requirement is that defamatory speech has to be of and concerning the plaintiff in order to state a claim. And you have to be able to prove that it's of and concerning the plaintiff in order to prevail. So in this particular case, the argument is that while she didn't name him, anyone who read it and knew her story knew that it was about him. And if you can demonstrate that even though the person isn't named, if they're described in such a way that it's obvious and that you can prove that people who read this knew that that's who it was referring to, then you've met the burden of and concerning. So just leaving someone's name out or disguising someone's name doesn't necessarily insulate you from a claim if the person who you really are meaning to address can demonstrate that people who read it or heard it knew that you were referring to them.
Now, it's something going on in this week since we talked last time is that some people is saying like, well, the Washington Post used a journalist that she gave the story, she wrote the story, and the only thing she put is the name. So a lot of people is asking why the Washington Post is not part of the defamation case, since was the channel. Apparently she didn't wrote the oaths, but she approved it. When you sign something, that's when you go to a lawyer and you're going to do a deposition, you did it, or your lawyer, you sign it, you're done. So it's a compound question, but I think it's related to everything because nobody's bringing the Washington Post as part of the defamation case when he already did that with an UK media before.
So there's an interesting distinction that you've hit on, which is he brought a case in the UK against the media. One big difference between the UK and the United States is that there's no First Amendment, right? So being able to pursue a claim against the media in the UK is much easier. That being said, he didn't have much success. But I think it was certainly a strategic decision on behalf of Depp and his lawyers about why they decided not to sue the Washington Post. And the answer to the question, could they have sued the Post? The answer is absolutely yes. That in the US, the way it works is that you are liable for republishing something defamatory. Now, there are some strictures about what you had to know when you publish it in order to be liable, particularly if the subject is a public figure or public official, which is the case here. But in answer to the question, could they have sued the Washington Post? The answer is absolutely yes, which leads us to the question, well, I wonder why they chose not to. Why didn't you include the Washington Post? It may be as simple as the Washington Post has an entire stable of lawyers who are absolutely dedicated to defending this kind of suit, right? And that's going to be a difficult proposition, particularly when Johnny Depp and his lawyers know that he is a public figure, meaning that he's going to have this really high burden known as actual malice. He's going to have to demonstrate that the Washington Post knew or should have known that the statement that he was an abuser implied was false. And that's a lot harder to do than it is to demonstrate that Amber Heard, the person who is claiming to have been present and experienced the conduct, knew or should have known it was false. So with respect to the Washington Post, if they cannot demonstrate that the Washington Post had evidence that she was lying or was sort of offered an avenue towards evidence that she was lying and decided not to explore it, if he can't do that, it's a dead bang loser against the Washington Post. There's also the idea that in the Post, her particular piece was in the opinion section. And if you'll notice, I found this very interesting.
Yeah,
that
it's an opinion. I've been abused by my former partner. I'm a public figure. My partner is a public figure. I'm putting myself on the MeToo movement and a victim and ruin for every. I don't pretend you opinionate that. It's my personal opinion. Ruin important improvement in everybody who has been abused in any way, personal or work-wise, saying the opinion, but it's in the opinion section. So it doesn't matter. It's not value.
No, here's the way it works. There's no rule in the US that just because you qualify or tag something as an opinion or because it appears on something that says opinion, that it's immune. That's not the way it works. The way it works is that there's a series of factors that you look at to determine whether or not something qualifies as a factual statement or as a statement of opinion. And I assume that Depp's lawyers realize that one of the arguments that the Washington Post would make, which is slightly less compelling for Heard, although I think she could make it too, is that, listen, this is on the opinion page. So anyone who looks at it in the context of it being an opinion page understands it not as a factual allegation against somebody else of sexual abuse. What it is, and you'll see, I found it compelling. The last paragraph says, I want to ensure that women come forward to talk about violence and that they receive more support, and that we're electing representatives to know how, who do care about these issues. The idea is that it is an expression of Heard's opinion that now we're in a moment, right? This is in 2018, where Trump has been accused of doing all kinds of sexually aggressive things. And what she's saying is, here, this is sort of a call on behalf of the ACLU, no less, for sort of political action and activism, right? To take action against the complacent culture vis-a-vis domestic abuse. And so that's really not a factual piece accusing people of abuse. What it really is, and any reader would interpret it as her sort of political call to action against people who are pushing back against abusers, and sort of, I think jumping on the new wave of pro MeToo type believe women activism. And that kind of speech, especially if it's political in nature, which arguably this is, has the utmost protection. So that's sort of a long-winded way of saying why I suspect they excised the Washington Post as a defendant, because it creates a lot of bad dynamic that they wanted to
and it's
avoid,
a distraction because it's about her. Doesn't matter who published it. I think at the end of the day, it would be legally as an strategic bad idea to divulge and get another part on the lawsuit where the lawyers are going to be too much fight. And actually, again, it's my opinion. I don't expect it to follow. This is a legal shield to a public and media change of perception and stop the damage. This is not about the money. This is not who won or lost. It's about stopping the damage that Johnny Depp is suffering on the media. So if the media is the one damaging, let's go back to the same place they damaged me and ask you to fix me, because I never saw so much people putting the hashtag, let's say Johnny Depp, you have our support. It's amazing. People is on the court in the morning only waiting for him, never for her.
Again, I've got nothing personally to do with this case, but I agree with your assessment that this does not appear to be a case that really is focused on the actual law of defamation. And it's on my radar because I do defamation work and because it's a celebrity case, but not because it's going to create any kind of, great precedent in the world of defamation or bad precedent that I have to keep my eye on, because going forward, this is going to be a case held out that has to be followed under the principles of stare decisis. It's really the application of the specific unfortunate facts of this relationship and these fights to very well-established law. There's sort of no new legal question that's being raised here.
We're not going to have a new Miranda law for this case. Let's put it this way. For the one who want to put in more lame terms, we're not going to have another Miranda law. Nobody's going to be naming Depp versus Heard on any case. It's really well put in. They present a case, compel again, good enough that the court says, okay, we have a case, we're going to go to court, allow the cameras. And talking about the cameras, most people, my personal thing is, if any of the lawyers would go to the jurors and says, okay, for your safety, beside that, I'm going to ask you why the jurors are not in camera. Beside that, since this is really public and we're going to have people with polarized ideas, I would have said no public allowed on the court. I think that would have been a really, really good first card to put on the table from any of the lawyers protecting the jurors. Me personally, I wouldn't like to be in this case because I don't know if they're going to take it personal tomorrow, but it's a reason why the jurors are not recorded.
Sure. So you raise a really interesting conflict that comes up all the time. And I have a pretty strong opinion on it because it's what I do, but there's sort of this constitutional entitlement to public access to the court. The idea is that if you don't allow the public's eyes and ears to keep an eye on what's going on in the judicial branch of government, that fosters corruption. And so the more media and public eyes and ears that you have shining a light on what goes on, right, the less likely it is that people who are corrupt or paying off a judge or not playing by the rules are going to be able to carry on with corruption because they will be caught by the diligent eyes of the public. And obviously the press is sort of an extension of the public. That being said, there are state-by-state laws regarding the extent to which public access is allowed in the courtroom. It's sort of undisputed that public humans need to be allowed to sit in the courtroom, COVID precautions aside, that sort of thing, there were still provisions made. But the extent to which media and the public is allowed is given over very much to the discretion of the judges. Not as much in federal court, there's no cameras allowed in federal court, but in many state courts, still, the default is that either cameras are not allowed or cameras are allowed under very sort of limited circumstances. And judges are allowed to enter orders that determine who's let in, which cameras. Normally there's a pool camera, right? 1 or 2 cameras, and then everyone in the media is allowed to sort of access or get rights to that footage. With respect to the identity of the jurors, particularly in Virginia, there's a specific statute that deals with trial publicity and public access. And the rule is that the cameras in the courtroom are not to record any juror activity during the proceedings. Now, once it's over, if the jurors want to voluntarily talk to the press, that's up to them. But the idea is that doing jury duty and being a juror is so quintessentially important to the process that you don't want to do anything that's going to dissuade people from wanting to serve. It's going to sort of encourage people to maybe not be candid when they're being selected in the jury pool because they don't want to do it. And so, showing their faces could be a real deterrent to some people. And based on that, there is almost sort of universal understanding that even when cameras are allowed, even when they're allowed, from gavel to gavel, that showing the jury is not permitted.
And in this case, you sent me a couple of documents. Thank you very much, because you enlightened me on the legal aspect. I don't play a lawyer either in my personal life or in any media outlet. I know my limits. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist, a therapist, a lawyer. No, I know about those things, but I don't play one. So you sent me a couple of documents, and one says that when the judge did a specific briefing, I don't know how would I say it, and how people can manage sharing information, the cell phone, their own opinion. If somebody yells something personal, they're going to be grabbing by the shirt, put outside, no discussion. Actually, this is why you need to read before enter. You know the consequences. Shut up and sit and listen.
And that's sort of the flip side of this idea of the constitutional right to public access, which is the flip side of that coin is that a judge has extraordinarily broad discretion on how to conduct his or her courtroom. And that's because the process cannot function if there is disruption, if there are distractions. And so the rules are set out to allow a judge very, very broad leeway in what he or she allows to be said and done. And there's a strong ability to enforce. So if somebody, shouts out or violates the media order that I circulated, not only do they get tossed out, if someone wants to, they can also be held in contempt. It's violating a court order, meaning that you could get a body attachment and, be held in contempt of court, which is no small deal. So there are very strict ways that a judge can enforce their broad discretion in how they run the courtroom. And it often runs up against the media and public interest in access and full disclosure. So a big part of what I do is threading that needle and pushing back on behalf of the media, asking the courts to give up more, fighting when things are sealed or secret. And it's always an interesting battle.
And Natalie, is anything that I'm missing about that? What people is not talking on the media, because this show is special, is to talk to people like, okay, everybody's talking a lot about a lot of things, but nobody understands the root and why and how. Because I hear so many people on the media feed like, oh, well, I'm gonna sue my ex-partner, or I'm gonna sue my friend who says this in Twitter. Like, you need to have grounds for doing. You can sue whatever you want, but from that to become a lawsuit that you can take a trial is completely different. So is anything that I'm missing in this point?
Sure. I think the one big thing that's really more applicable to the Depp versus Heard trial is this idea of actual malice as the standard. You may hear, and you'll see on Twitter, people talking about it, but I think maybe not as much as they should be. This case is actually very narrow. There's going to be weeks and weeks of drama about who said what and who did what and who, smashed who with what phone. But at the end of the day, because he's a public figure, the question is very narrow. The question is, can he prove by clear and convincing evidence that she knew that her statement that he abused her was false? That's it. That's the question. That's the answer. And what people don't necessarily understand is that if you bring a suit and you are a public figure or you are a public official, it is really, really difficult to win. It's not the same if it's just a regular guy versus a regular guy. You don't have to prove it by such a high standard. It can just be negligence. But in a case like this, I think there should be more conversation about why it's so difficult. And also, why is he really bringing this case when it's probably going to be hard for him to prove or convince a jury that she is lying? I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But that's really the narrow question here. And it's governed by Supreme Court precedent, Times versus Sullivan. You'll hear it all over the place because there's murmurings at the United States Supreme Court that that standard should be chipped away because it allows people to get away with saying too much. Obviously, the media and the folks I do work with are big fans of the standard because it helps defend people who are criticizing public figures, government officials, who should have a thicker skin.
Only to let you know, last week I went to Chicago and I walked through Macy's, and guess what advertisement is back on the cosmetic area? The Dior contract that he did, they took it off for many months, and Macy's last Friday, I was walking through, the advertisement is put it back. I was reading the numbers this weekend. I have a friend who works in advertisement. Guess what? It's the most sell perfume in the last 4 weeks on the history of Dior.
Which just proves that the law doesn't matter at all, right? Those guys, I mean, breaks my heart. He's playing a media circus game and it's working for him and his reputation and all the brands for whom he is an ambassador. But at the end of the day, I hope, if the law works and he isn't able to bring forth evidence that she is lying and convincing evidence, he shouldn't win.
I think that both are ruin a lot of things around there, that for the rights that took too long, because people need to remember, women, we were allowed to vote not too far away. We're still making less money than men does. So I think one of the only rights that we win in the last years are ruined by her, and he's using the law in his own advantage. So nobody is an angel. I don't know if all of them are evils, but like you said, let's hope the law prevail and they can prove it, because socially, I think he won already.
I think you're probably right about that. Let's see if the law agrees.
Natalie, thank you. Thank you very much for being with us.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks so much.
Okay. Any comments, love?
Yes. You know what? It's really interesting to understand what is a defamation and which are the things, like the parameters to say someone is defamating me. And it's funny because we thought like we are like we can talk whatever what we want is the same in every country in the world, and it's not. It's really interesting to know those kind of things, because you thought like you live like that, you have that like opportunity or advantage, but you have to see that not in every country you can have this, and it's different.
And the concept of defamation is how you prove that you are doing defamation against me. You can say, oh, she's an ass. I don't like her. She's too aggressive. Like, okay, those are not defamation. If I'm not losing clients, if I cannot prove that I'm losing client, if I'm not proving that I'm losing business, remember, this case is not if Amber is crazy or John is crazy, who's guilty. If they can prove the Amber lie when she was saying that he committed physical abuse, and if she knew that she was lying because she didn't understand the differences. But in this case, to the fact that Johnny Depp lawyers put such a compelling case to put it out there. And by the way, Natalie sent us all the documents, the originals from the lawyers, the presentations against the court, why they were approved. It's crazy. Amber is defending herself and Johnny is explaining why. And I think it's a constant during all this trial. And what's crazy too is we talk with her and why and how and because of what the jurors are not sequestered, but are not televised and they're not on the media. And she brings us the legal aspect why that never happened. And in this case, the judge was really intelligent to make a presentation and what are going to be the legal standards for the public to get inside the courtroom who are personally wouldn't allow it, because I think this is too polarized for the jurors, is too much exposure and it can be danger. But why they're not televised and what are the points that the judge mentioned, why if you are like, love Johnny, hate Amber, or vice versa, you're kicked out of the court no matter. Everybody who come to the court, they do need to know what they need to do.
How they behave.
So are you ready for the first reading?
Yes.
There were a lot of suspicions that she fired the first law team, and a point is like, Elba, what is the first team of Amber? Like, no, Susan, she have only one lawyer team. Like, really? I was under the impression she fired. No, she fired the PR firm.
Yes.
So, which one you want to take? Let's go for 5 points. Who gonna make them strong, and 5 points they're gonna make them weak.
Okay. Okay, let's go with, because
these are the secondary lawyers. The ones who want to show after are the stronger lawyers who sit next to Amber all the time, correct?
No, this one are the primary, because
these are, yeah. There's so many lawyers I get confused.
Yeah, she's the one, Elaine. I don't know how to pronounce it, but she's the one.
Brett Huff. I don't know.
Yes,
I guess
she's the one like the head of the team, and Ben is the second one. So these two are both like the strongest, because she is interrogating Amber, Elaine, and Ben interrogates Johnny.
You know what? And let's talk about the legal situation. I completely disagree that Elaine is the one who is examining Amber on this depositions of this testimony during the week and next week. Why? I do understand for people who has been on the court and is on the court every day that we have more men than women. Now we're talking about that due to the COVID, when you decide who is going to be talking on the court, how you're going to be presenting when you work with the lawyers, you need to have a cultural, geographic, economy, situational, social environment. And what I mean with this, and Elba, pull me out if I'm going to geek, because this is my turf, girl. So what happened is, we have, for the last 2 years and more than 2 years, we have been staying home, drinking, gambling, addictions, and divorce are going high. And physical abuse and domestic abuse have been going high, even though when nobody was doing it before, living on the same road happened. So when you have a man who just drinking and gambling is such a strong figure, is men against women. So a lot of people is going to feel represented like, yeah, the H, you shouldn't have get your things together. You was too high maintenance. You was driving me crazy. I was having a couple of drinks, whatever. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. What I'm saying is how the jurors think about it. So when you have a person like Amber, who nobody has defended her until now, neither people who's their friends, neither people who work from her, neither their own parents are saying nice things about her. When she get on the stand, she cannot be deposed by another female. She need to get deposed by a man. Why? Because it's two females against the men. So all the women on the jurors can change their idea, but the men, they're gonna get a stronger locket. They're not gonna change their perception about what Amber says. Actually, it's gonna be worse for her, because it's a woman who's deposing Amber. And Elba, tell me why Elaine is great to cross-examine females, but not to cross-examine Ambers. You see those round eyebrows, my love?
Yes. That's why, because, okay, you have one point here. She likes the story. Now, if you have been hearing about how the Amber testifying, you can hear that Amber goes to the story. And Elaine addressed that. She needs to, Amber, tell the story.
She let her go too much.
Yes, but because in some point, it's like, no, this is an objection. You don't need to say what they say, what they said. So yes, there's a lot of things here. But
yeah, she explained in court, only for people to understand. She explained in court like this is not prep. They've been prepping for a month for this examination. So we said like, Amber, no, poor you. You don't know how these work. No, honey, you don't need to tell this, tell that, because Elaine is that way. And Elaine is the perfect under their thinking to make Amber look good. Still, I think it's a huge mistake.
Yes, because you know what? For me, for my point of view, if Amber goes with Ben, it will be a different story, because he won't like, okay, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's the story. We need the facts and the data. Now we need the facts and the data.
We are reviewing, and actually the deposition on Wednesday. On Thursday, they were the same scenarios. On Wednesday, they set up the scenario. They did the intro of the movie. And on Thursday, they were too long with the same things. Like, and I hear another lawyers that are YouTubers. I'm like, wait a minute, we talked about this yesterday. Why she's talking again? What is repetitive? Why she's telling me so many details that doesn't make sense? Why we need to see 25 pictures? Show me 5 strong statement pictures about the situation and go forward. And one of the things that Elaine have is she's not strong enough, and she let Amber go too much. Amber go like, oh my God, it's happening. And then, and the Oscar goes to
there. And I have it here because for me it was so amazing to see her. Because, okay, let's put it in this way. When you have an emotion, when you feel that emotion, when you revive, relive the moment, you have the emotion, you cry, you can be angry, you can be whatever you want. But it's funny to see her like, yes, and this and that, and then boom, everything goes blank, and you cannot see more emotions there. And you go like, really?
Sorry, it's construction crazy in my house this week. And we talk about something. You're not going to see any tears on Wednesday, but you see a couple of tears on Thursday, but you're never going to see red eyes. And you're more patient to take notes. I was painting walls and listen to them. Like, I cannot see it all the time. Like, I get into impatient. Chin, eyebrows, like, no, I cannot do that. But you point something about red eyes, Elba, and a testimony of somebody else about the red eyes.
The police, the first 2 police that get to their house, they were interrogating too. And they show a picture, and the attorney said, okay, what you can see here. And both said the same. And both said she has red eyes because she had been crying. So meaning that when she cries, she can have the red eyes. But when she have the tears, you cannot see the red eyes. Nowhere.
When you go to the emotional part of your brain, it's really difficult not to feel it. Sometimes I go in YouTube when I want to see something funny, and when somebody show up like, and I lost my pet, I change automatically because I'll remember Homer. Like, I have his ashes on my nightstand. So even though it's been like, what, 3 years and a half since I lost Homer. Yeah, because you went to the wreck. I was a wreck for a long time with that. Unless I'm not working for 2 weeks, I'm going to be in bed crying. I still remember that. I'm still crying. I still get emotional. And when you get emotional, actually, hysteria is more outside. the real pain coming inside. And one day we're going to talk about the word hysteria and how it was invented, and the correlation between hysteria and dildos. Yes, it's a correlation, England. Thank you, England, on the 1800s. But we're going to talk about, we can do an article about that, but only in our newsletter, because we are not allowed to publish that on the regular media. But it's when you are compelling and you're reviving and you feel attacked, you tend to go smaller, because you feel smaller. And she was saying that she feels smaller, that she went to the floor and she was seeing if the floor is dirty. She remembers so many details about things that are not important, but she doesn't remember the important details like you say it. What movie you was filming on that time?
Yeah, it was funny because she was talking about a lot of things, a lot of details. And in one point, there was 3 times they asked for a movie, for a specific movie. The first 2, she were like, and the attorney said, okay, you were filming the X and Y movie. And she said, oh, yeah, that's the one. At the 3rd time, the attorney started with saying which movie she was filming. So if she's telling that she has been in casting and things, you cannot remember which movie are you filming?
No,
it's not going to happen.
So I think that if they don't change the strategy to have either Ben or Adam, that we're going to show the other picture of Adam, to go take control, they're going to lose. Again, the judge says you have less than 30 hours to do Amber testimony, for Amber to be cross-examined. So I think if Johnny Depp team, hi love, we have an extra today.
So they want my phone to have the control of the TV. So yeah.
Good call. You control the TV by your cell phone. So they're gonna have less than 30 hours to Amber testimony, to have examination and cross-examine the witnesses. Now, if Johnny Depp team is intelligent enough, what is going to happen is they're going to do a lot of time on cross-examining Amber and cross-examining the witness to run out of her time to do anything else. So that is a good strategy. So Elba, taking from here, 5 things that why Elaine is not the right person to cross-examine or examine Amber, and what Ben will be a better suitor for her.
Because, okay, we talk about the story. She needs the story, and she communicates by the story too. But she needs one thing here. She needs recognition of what she's doing. So she cares about what the media or the people is going to say. So she needs to feel like I'm doing a great job. And it's funny because she's intelligent, but for some reason, she wants to be the low profile. She don't want to appear like a tough woman.
I'm going to ask the audience and yourself, Elba, put the hand on the right picture. Forget about Ben. Sorry, Ben, we're going to forget about you for a moment. Yes. And look at Amber and Elaine. Doesn't look like my grandmother or my mom is protecting me.
Mm-hmm.
If you think that Dr. Bull and any of the shows you see about jury selection and trial science, it's fictional, you don't have an idea how many things are going through when you go to a trial. So I think she's too sweet for Amber. Amber needs control. And since Amber have a problem, and we're going to talk when we have the psychologist, God, again, this is going to be a 3-hour show. Bear with us, watch it in pieces. We're going to talk about that. She have a problem with men. She have a problem with the men figure. So putting a man doing the examination of Amber would have been way more intelligent and winning the men's side and saying like, okay, she can take it. She can talk about it. And if the men would it help her to humanize her side of the testimony and win more female audience and female jurors.
Yes, I agree with you. See, yes.
Totally. So is anything else you want to tell me about Ben or Elaine?
Yes, Ben. One thing that I have with him, it's like everything is a problem for him. He is going to see the problems. Everything is going to be a problem. If Amber said something, it's going to be a problem. But he has one thing here, and it will be a good thing if they use it, because he have the solution. So yes, everything is going to be a problem. He doesn't believe at the first thing, but he knows the solution. He knows how to solve things. I can bet, like, if he was interrogating Amber, he never be Amber let go too much with a lot of things that are irrelevant here. He goes to the facts.
Yeah, and that, do you think that is missing? We have done a trial. Actually, this morning, really early, we were prepping a client for testifying in court, and we're like, oh my God, this is going to be a long day. I don't want to talk about lawyers anymore. But we're talking about that. It's like the person we was prepping, it was all over the place. And Elva and I says, we need the lawyer who can nail you, who can ground you to earth. Because if you annoying people, the people who sitting on the jury, they don't want to be there, no matter what famous case it is. When it's a famous case, remember when the mafia and all those cases happened, nobody want to be there. I wouldn't like to be in such a famous case as a juror, because when this happened, you don't know what is going to be the repercussion. And one of the things they didn't do is sequester it. And we talked with Natalie why they didn't sequester it, the jurors, and allow public to come in. But I wouldn't like to be, because this is so polarized. You don't know the MeToo movement. You don't know if a new movement defending men is going to happen. We don't know what is the precedent of this case is going to happen. I don't want to be the person. No way. So having a man doing this, it would have been way better, because he would take her to the point. I need somebody like that in my team, by the way, so I don't talk too much. Ella, go for it.
Yeah, so I think that's why I can identify with him. And that's how, because that's when I was listening, her testimony is like, oh, but what is the point here? You didn't answer the question. So yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, she is portrayed like the rebel girl who always get away with whatever she want, whenever she wanted. So having a woman who looked like her grandmother, again, when you're going to give perception to the jurors, is the lawyers, is the client, is the witness, and is the expert, and the interaction of the perception. Yeah, grandma is having a conversation with me. Like, no, wrong dynamic. You need a man who's strong, who actually can have me more related to Johnny Depp. And by the way, to show the interaction between you and I don't think they put a man to examine her. And I hope the Johnny Depp lawyers do a minute cross-examination to see how she flipped. And if she flipped.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen, because she has been putting things out there, and you can see like, but what happened here? Because we were talking, and at some point she talks about, and she said, I didn't defend myself in that time. Okay. In which time you did defend yourself?
I forgot that we sent you to the Israeli military to learn statement analysis. What I have done. I love you to death, but now you're going to be our word nerd too. You and Lena are going to drive me crazy. Lena is not enough. Now you too. But yeah, you're right. You're right regarding that. I didn't. So I think if Johnny Depp team put a man, what do you think is going to be better to the cross-examination? Because I think with a man, with the cross-examination, we need to be a little harder. Is going to be by a man. She's going to flip. And she's going to look weaker because a woman who examined her, who takes her testimony first. Huge mistake, Amber Heard team. Huge mistake. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not portrayed either. Neither Elba. But believe me, we have been doing this a long time, and we know how people react. Let's go to Adam, to reading Adam.
Yes.
Okay, this is the other lawyer, then I confused. This is the one who's sitting on the back, correct?
Yes, that's the one that's sitting on the back. When he was sitting next to her, when Ben was interrogating, I don't remember who, but that's the only time.
Okay, things that I like about Adam that I don't like too much about, I think Ben would have come out too aggressive. He looked like the Hampton guy sailing on the weekend. I get it. But I think that Adam would have been a better examiner from Amber. Why? He has more likable features. He's more humanized. And I think he would have given us the female and male perspective of the examination with Amber than the other guy did. Remember, I'm gonna remember faces. Not Ben. Okay, between Ben and Adam, I would have gone with Adam. I think he had the female male side. What do you think?
I agree. I agree with you, but you
Thank
can
God.
see his. We talk about the Bambi eyelashes. Now look at him. So yeah, I think, and he's creative. So he will find a way to be like, go to the point in a creative way. So yeah, I agree with you.
He wouldn't be likable, get it to the point, but he wouldn't have talk in a way to make a narrative more fluent. And another thing that, oh, by the way, I need to say is Emily Baker. She doesn't know who I am. She doesn't know who we are. But I love your channel, Emily Baker. And one of the things that she was saying, she's a lawyer. She have an amazing tech talk about having HPD. Love Emily Baker. I watch all her videos. She has been an Eric Hunley a lot of time. If Emily, if you see this video and you say something in the comment, I'm going to pee myself. I love you to death. So one of the things that Emily says, and like I know her, I'm sorry, Lawyer Baker, she says is that it get to a point when Amber was testifying on Wednesday and Thursday, like, what are we talking about? Like, that was before they get married, after get married. What are you talking about? They back and forth on a way that is impossible, even for people like us who have an expert eye and an expert ear to follow what's going on, to understand. Can you imagine the jurors? Guess what? Because her lawyer wasn't strong enough to pull and do a narrative. Get your things together. This is the most important initial testimony. Already nobody like her. And we're going to talk when we talk about clothing and the way they did examination and cross-examination and how intelligent Johnny Depp was to go in first, obviously, is the plaintiff. But hello, nobody like you already. Get your things together. Elba?
I agree with you. It's like, I think you need, that's why we have been talking since the last show. You need to be prepared in any field, not just what you said, not just how you behave, everything. You need to be prepared.
Yep. Anything else you're going to add on this team before we go into Johnny Depp team?
I want to go with that, with the Johnny Depp team.
No,
I want to say something.
Now you're getting cocky. What? Tell me.
No. But when we saw the pictures with Johnny Depp team,
you know, this almost an hour, more than an hour, and we have like 10 slides from 30. Okay, let's go. If you want to learn what we're doing here, some of the things we're doing here, we already launched a program called Face Reading Profiling Pro for 6 months classes with 2 years of support. Coaching group classes a couple of times a week is going to be recorded, uploaded in video and audio. We're releasing units every week. But don't worry. If you says, wait a minute, the class is already started. It's evergreen, it's in your drip and your own time. The support doesn't change. We have an amazing community. We have been telling people, like we have people in Stockholm. We have people in California. We have people in Denmark. It's amazing the community we form. The next coaching open class is going to be next Monday in the morning. because you're going to be traveling. I need to take the coaching class for myself. It's going to be so boring. Anyway, if you want to learn face reading profiling and take it to a next level, actually, we have already 2 students. What the idea is, one of them already opened an LLC, and the second one is opening another LLC, start teaching and consulting in face reading. I love that our students come to us with such a focus point that how to make money with face reading, because it's one of the things that we teach you, how to make money and take this from the funny show on YouTube to make you a better and bigger income and be your own boss.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp team. Okay. Can I say that I'm going to be completely unprofessional? I love his team. I think it's brilliantly picked, not only for the face reading standpoint, it's because they're likable. I think Ben is a clown.
Yes.
It's funny. He knows how to control Johnny. He does an amazing job, and it still looks professional. That is my perception beside face reading, more from the behavioral standpoint. You?
It's the same for me. You can see Ben like interacting with Johnny. It's really good, and they're so friendly. They are okay. Let's see one thing. They are friendly. Even Ben puts more distance from people than Johnny. Yeah. That's how you can see what are the relationship that these two have.
But you know, one of the things, Ben on his personal and his business side, the left part of the picture is like, get away. It's funny because between Amber and her lawyer, we still have the grandmother-granddaughter relationship. In this case, Ben-Johnny is the relationship between father and son. So we have the same dynamic, but the interaction is natural. Amber never sat next to her during the trial. So she came from the back to assist me on the trial. It was a huge mistake. She shouldn't have been sitting next to Amber since Monday. They knew, because we're going to talk when we talk about clothing, that I says to myself at noon, I should go online and says, I bet my right thumb that Amber is going to be testifying today. I shouldn't have done it. So, and we're going to explain why. But she never was sitting next to Amber, never was creating the relationship between both during the preconceiving on the jury and preconceiving of the media. They never sat together. In the case of Ben and Johnny, they're sitting all the time. And the relationship, we showed last week how Amber greeting her lawyers and how Johnny greeting his lawyers. And it's completely different. He's friendly, relaxed, he's painting, instead of like stoic. No, he's painting and his thing. Ben and him talk really slow. Ben is not like, what is going on? Like, he smile, show contempt, Johnny get it, meaning that it's a connection. They show it's a coherency. I hate the relationship that Amber is established with her lawyers, make her stoic and distant. And I love the relationship that Johnny have proposed and with his lawyers. Why? It's perception. We're not talking right or wrong, it's perception. And for the perception they have a better relationship, meaning that Johnny is easy to work with. You need to remember, when I'm getting along with you, nobody want to see a lawyer. People like you and I, Elba, we know that we'll talk all the time. Nobody want to talk to us until it's too late. They don't want to, they need to. Same with the lawyers. But when you work with somebody you're supposed to be hating because actually it's helping you, you have a good relationship, it shows that you're easy to work with. When you like Amber, and again, I don't know any of them. I don't freaking care. Nobody paid me for this. Neither they paying you, Elba, and I don't know about it. Okay, so we're on the same page. I don't care. So when you show that you put so much distance with people who should be helping you, who, by the way, is consistency with all the witness talk about Amber, what are you showing? Like, that is true. I cannot get along with the people who get me out of jail, because she can lost a lot of money and she can go to jail, false testimony, full defamation. You don't have an idea how many things they can go wrong, and we can talk about that later. And Johnny is so easy to work with. Again, I don't know either. I don't condemn verbal or physical abuse. I don't know what happened with it. Nobody's going to know. The truth to be told in this lawsuit, nobody ever is going to know what really happened. Is going to be between them. Elba?
Yes, I agree with you. And okay, I'm going to put it this way. We talk about the Amber relationship with the first lawyer, the Elaine, I think. And she's the relationship like the grandmother.
See, you already forgot the name.
Yes, I'm not good with names. I need to be honest. I like the faces, but the names, it's hard. But now, why this grandmother didn't interrogate Johnny? You see how things change. You see how things can be like, because this grandmother will be like the story thing with Johnny too.
It would have been too good for Johnny team. It would have been too good for Johnny team. That's the reason Johnny have 2 ladies on the team and Amber have 2 men, but the female she have is not strong enough.
No. And you have one point here. Grandmother, what happened when we are with the grandparents? They give us everything.
We can do whatever we want. I miss my grandparents more than my parents, I think so.
You see? But what happened here? He has a relationship like he has with the father. Mm-hmm. The father raised you. It's in a different path. So it's going to be different.
You know what Elba, I love about this show, and probably people already dropped, and I hope they're still with us, is that we talk about the science and trials and trial science law and all the things that people doesn't have in consideration, and they think they're natural and they just happen because. No, every part of this trial is like a movie, completely, perfectly put together for you to be entertained and change your idea. Camille, she's elegant. I love Camille and I love Stephanie. She's the perfect lady. She's completely the opposite, has nothing to do with age. She's perfectly dressed, personable, professional. I love Camille. Besides Ben, for me, I'm more entertaining seeing Ben than Johnny sometime on the trial, because Ben is something. And by the way, he's super playful. He needs to restrict himself. You see the cliff on the chin. He needs to restrict himself to be more professional. But sometimes you can see when he's about to laugh and he shouldn't be laughing, you're going to see him doing this. Mm-hmm. And he look at him like, again, contempt and like laughing and like, okay, I love them. So Camille, is all yours.
Yeah, Camille. Okay. There's one thing that I saw with her, and it's coherence, because she's okay. She's stronger. Why? Because you can see her. It's like, this is objection. May I go? May we can approach? So she's really strong with the things that she's saying. She's not like hesitating things. She's like, okay, let's go with this.
We call it call of action.
Call of action. Yes. So I like that about her. And you can see that she can be too, like, talking through the story too. But she knows what are the facts and the data before.
Yeah, she does.
So that's what I like from her.
My love, anything else about Ben Chu and Camille Vasquez?
No, we can go to the next one.
And by the way, I think that is Irish and Latin names, really intelligent. Everything about, I don't know if it was the PR agent or was Johnny who picked up the law firm. Really well done. Again, I don't have anything against or in favor of any of those. We're talking from the behavioral standpoint, all the things that you don't know what happened on a trial. There are previous, during, and after. Wait for the after. This is going to be a documentary. Stephanie.
Yes, I like
This
it.
is the young grandmother. This is my younger sister. Even can be my daughter.
Yes. Yes, because she likes the story. She's more people oriented. She talks through that too. So you can see here one thing. You can see the balance between each person.
Yeah.
It's great because if you go to a point that you don't have to be there, there's someone that can grab you and put back to the earth. So that's a good thing, how you can put people with a different approach, with a different things to say, like you can be in the right place. So you know when you're going to use which one.
All of the lawyers, female and male on the Johnny side, look professional, but likable. And her side is disjoint. They're all over the place. And it shows when they need to put papers together, they're not emotionally, physically, and perceptive disjoint on Amber team. And the case of Johnny, they look together. They were casting for the movie. Make sense?
Yes, makes sense. You had it. Yes, yes.
I think the casting director choose them to put the movie called Johnny versus Amber, Amber versus Johnny, because at the end of the day, that's the movie we're watching.
Yes, I agree.
Comments, my love?
Nope.
Let's go. So we have a second class that we have launched called Face Reading Profiling 10 Features in 10 Days, meaning that in 2 weeks, we're going to get you out there if you don't want to go to the bit long program because you don't like to learn too much, but you just want to use face reading to everyday life. Tired not to make money, tired not to close in the sale, and you don't know why? Well, the why is because you don't know the oldest behavior on the world. You need to understand face reading has been among us for 5,000 years, microexpression for 100 only. Yeah, only 100, 120. And body language since the 1500s. Face reading profiling is the oldest one there. So I think that we prove you wrong, that we have 5,000 years on the making. So we cannot wait to see you in our class. Prices has already changed. Sorry, but we still have the old prices on the pro class. That's the longest one who changed in May 9th. Looking to see you there. Okay. That's where I start pulling my hair. Okay. Thank God I have a good perm. I love my girl doing the perm. The expert. When people says, why am I going to pay you to prep my expert? Elba and I will look at the client like, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh my God. Are you high? What are you drinking? That's the first person we need to prep. And lawyers still don't get it. Doesn't matter how old they are, how long they has been on the profession. The expert is the person, sometimes even more important than your clients. You have cases where your clients, they're not going to take the stand. They're not going to talk. Actually, there was delivery last week. If Amber is going to be put in the stand, depending how much damage she got, maybe she's not going to get on the stand. You put the witness and the expert. So sometimes the expert, it is the most important person in the room. And why? You can have an expert who knows a lot of what they know, but doesn't mean they cannot translate to people in a human way they can understand. Elba, what we always talk to lawyers when says like, well, it's a technical person, I don't need it to be human. It's not true. The jury, doesn't matter how many times it's told, do not go home and Google or talk about this case. If an expert talk about something and they do not understand, do you know what the first thing they're going to be doing?
They're going to Google it.
Elba,
Yeah.
why?
Yes, because they need to know it. And what happened when you Google something?
Oh, God. Have you ever had a pimple and go to MD?
Yes.
And you have cancer and actually it's a freaking pimple because you was eating too much fat? That's what happened when you Google things.
Yes, because the things that you can look, the first things that appear there, it's the worst. So you need to make sure your vocabulary, the way you talk, you lower. If you're going to use a technical word or something, you need to explain it in a human way. If a kid of 5 years can understand it, everyone is going to understand it.
What is our rule? If you want to know your word compelling, who you need to talk in the room to make sure they understand it?
My girls.
I love how we think alike.
Yes. So yeah, it's the same, because you take the risk to people can go and Google things that are not the things that you try to say.
Nope. Okay, let's talk. Thank you, Train. We hear you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the passion win. Like, hi, thank you, Train. Don't leave your windows open when you're recording a show. Don't do that. Thank you. Okay. Dr. Hughes and Dr. Curry. And by the way, Dr. Hughes was Amber lawyers were calling Dr. Hughes Dr. Curry. Dr. Hughes is Amber psychologist. Dr. Curry is Johnny psychologist. And Amber lawyers was calling her own psychiatrist like the Johnny Depp. Dr. Curry, at one point, Dr. Hughes says, like, I'm now Dr. Curry. And all the courtroom start laughing. And she didn't do it one time. She did it more than once. Like, come on, is your witness, is the person who can save or kill your client and you forget your name? You and I, Elba, we can do that, but a lawyer cannot.
No, okay, let's take this. We have been talking about you can need to be prepared, and this make coherence, like you can see them.
Nothing is coherent in this case.
It's like they go all over the place. They go at the last minute. They look like they don't have the things together. So that's the result that we can see here. You cannot confuse the name.
Use stickers. Get the freaking sticker of the person you're talking in front.
Remember?
I have, okay. This is one of the stickers, the big ones. This is the second sticker. And even I have a book for notes. Yeah. Know your turf. There's nothing wrong to have a freaking big sticker with the name of Dr. Hughes. No. I have a fourth one with the name of the lawyer, the psychiatrist, because I do know I'm gonna forget her name. That I write it.
Yeah, I have my notes too, because I know me. I know myself.
So yeah, she not only came up in the wrong way as her personality, but more likable physically. Now you confuse her name, and she couldn't take it anymore because her ego. Actually, I think that was paid by Johnny Depp people only to piss her off, because she like I'm not Dr. Curry. You don't need to be correcting people. Like, I'm sorry, no. I think you're mixed the name. I'm Dr. Hughes. Hello, and it would be nicer, but she's like, I'm not Dr. Curry.
Like, stop doing that.
Okay, so I want you, I know that everybody probably saw this, but I want the perception. We didn't put any words in these images. I want you to tell me the perception. The first lawyer is Dr. Curry is the lawyer, the perception of the psychology. I was telling about no confusing things. Guess what I did as soon as I said that? Confusing the title. God is late. So you have Dr. Curry, who is the psychiatrist, who is saying that Amber have borderline and stoic personality. And we have Dr. Hughes, who says, nope, she is PTSD. And after this, we're going to see Lisa. She is a counselor who's going to explain us a little more lay terms what this means. But beside that, I want you to see what is the perception. This is a show. Again, this is a casting movie. This is the Johnny Depp Amber big screen. What is your perception about both of them, how they present each other and how you see them? Do you think that Dr. Curry is suitable to be in court with that appearance? I don't think so. And we're going to talk about a couple of things that we noticed, and we're going to shut up, put the mic off, and see you take. It doesn't have sound on purpose. Okay, Elva, what is your perception? I know you know, but let's fake that you don't know what we're talking about. What is your perception about Dr. Curry and Dr. Hughes?
Dr. Hughes, looks like more professional. And when we talk about that, and it's something that it's so true, Dr. Hughes, they refer to the jury. Dr. Curry didn't. She was looking at Johnny Depp lawyers. And okay, yes, you need to look them too, but to which people you need to tell what you have to say.
More important, who you need to convince, the lawyers or the jurors? No, you need to talk to the jurors, like, duh.
And she never talks about that. So she never refer. And you can see Dr. Hughes, how she put her body to be like, connect with the jurors.
Yeah. Another thing that I like is the way she dressed, the way she did the makeup, the way she did the hair, and the pearls. Okay, when a female, and it's happened to me when I need to go to court, it's funny because when people come to my house, is why you have so many different closet and so opposite clothing. I have one clothing when I'm doing sales training, and I have different clothing when I'm going to court. Even I have different jewelry. And just happened, the Elva, since she started working with us many years ago, she does the closet on the same way. I will not going to be dressing this way when I'm going to court. I don't testify. Elva doesn't testify. We don't do it. We keep it out of there. But even though when we need to work with lawyers, the clothing, everything needs to be different. When you have pearls, I don't know why. There are three things that make you look more knowledgeable as a woman: glasses, makeup, and pearls. So when I need to talk to an opposite counselor, or I need to talk to a lawyer for the first time, you can see I'm wearing glasses. I wear makeup and I wear pearls, either on my earrings, either on a necklace, bracelet, ring, I don't know, but I wear pearls. I wear neutral colors. She did perfect on the static scene. Now, she freaking messed it up when she opened her words. But we're talking about perception, because most people didn't understand neither what both psychiatrists says. They were both too complex, but the first impressions are matter. Her impression, even though she was really aggressive, was better suited and better seen aesthetically for the court. Let's go to review again what happened with Dr. Curry.
The hair. The hair is making me crazy. It's.
You forgot to buy milk and somebody stopped you on the front of the court and says, hey, dude, come on. I'm going to give you all a small jacket so you can have feet on it, put a ponytail with a bracket. Like, I don't use that hair even to go to the gym. You know me. I match my robe with my flip-flop and people make fun of me, but that is not a way to present yourself to go to the court and not addressing to the jury. Elva, I'm sorry, I get too passionate about this.
It's crazy because the hair for me was like, really? Why you just don't do a ponytail and that's it? And even the accessories, it's like none. You're in a court. You need to give a perception.
Likeable, female, professional,
okay,
you get
we have
together.
One term here in Guatemala. I don't know how to translate. I'm going to say it in Spanish, but we have one term here when something like this happened. It's like she looks like a cara lavada.
Yeah,
So-
wash face.
Yes,
That-
it's like,
It wouldn't be though that bad that she is not wearing makeup, but the t-shirt, like, okay, yeah, I do have t-shirts all around my house. I've been painting my house this week. I've been having fun working as a handyman this week. But her jacket, do this. When the jacket, it happened to me. I have big boobs and I gained weight during pandemic. Like, that's happened. So the jacket do these, but I make sure that I open it. Oh, sometimes I cut it on the back since everything happened in Zoom. Nobody's going to see it. But the jacket is too tight on the shoulders. She's wearing a green t-shirt. A gray t-shirt. I think those t-shirts coming in the back. No, don't do that.
and she is a professional, like high professional psychologist and everything.
Psychiatrist, worse. She's a
Psychiatrist.
doctor. She went 5 years only to understand people, because we have a lot of people outside the United States. She went to the university 5 years to study as much as the doctors study. And after that, she did a specialization. So she's not lame. She's not stupid. And to be an expert on this case, you need to know your turf. But the way you present yourself and who you're directing while you're talking, come on, Elba, take me out of here.
No, I agree with you. It's like she needs to look like what she is.
It's funny because when there was cross-examining Dr. Hughes before Amber was testifying, who was completely made up, I knew Amber is going to start testifying on Wednesday for two things. I'm going to tell you one. Dr. Hughes was using a specifically more emotional language and like putting the red carpet for the big star to come. Her cross-examination answers, I like the lawyer, I like Ben, how he did it, that I knew that something was coming up. And Dr. Curry was wearing a turtleneck black. Her hair was perfect and wearing lovely glasses. It's like, girl, you went to our 101 expert jury presentation. She looked lovely. She looked neutral. Black turtleneck, if you don't want to wear in a suit. I don't say you need to wear a suit. A black turtleneck with nice black glasses, her hair well done, light makeup. I couldn't recognize it when the camera put it like, wait a minute, like, oh my God, it's Dr. Curry. She looked hot, friendly, approachable, intelligent. She's wearing makeup, glasses, all the point that she needs to be wearing. Why you didn't do that, girl, on the stand? Why you lawyers didn't do that? Come on, guys. And you stop with the klaxon. That is FedEx. Everybody's out there. Come on, guys. We're recording a show. Who does, by the way, need to go up in 3 hours, because you see him now, but we recorded 3 hours early. Elba, anything else?
No, I need to. Okay, no. It's like, for me, it was like, okay, really? You need to be prepared in every field, in any field. So you see.
And now we're going to talk about the bias. Now we talk about the funny part out all over the place. I'm going to talk about two things, and I'm going to start with it, but we agree that those things that are bothering us. Dr. Curry was cross-examined to go with the lawyers and Johnny Depp house to have drinks and dinners and interact before the case and before the examination. I don't think that if you're going to be the expert, you can interact with the person that you are giving your expertise. And Eric Hunley did an amazing special with, I think, Dr. Doss for UK about it's a forensic psychology and how to cross-examine and things like what happened. And he pointed the same. You don't have personalized relationship with your clients in this case before the case happened, because that make look like that you were paid to talk about what you want. We want you to talk about it. Yes. But on the case of Dr. Hughes, she showed biases. So which one you want to talk more, Elba? Which one you want to pick first?
I want to pick first Dr. Hughes because I have it here.
There we go. Hey, you had it. You say it.
Okay. I'm going to summarize this. She started with the deposition, okay? And she started talking, and the lawyer tried to put her to explain what abuse means and if this abuse can happen to women, to men. Now, when she started talking, she didn't refer, because she was giving the definition. The lawyer wasn't asking about the case. But since the beginning, she started talking about she. Why she? You cannot talk about she if you are saying me that this can happen to women and men. You need to refer to both.
Yeah.
Because you are not talking about the case, the specific case. So since she started, and she said, this can happen to men and women. And after that, she started referring to she. But why she? If this can happen to both. So that's the first thing that I noticed. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. What happened here? You can talk about she when you talk about the case, but not before.
By the way, you're going to tell me that Amber team, let's be clear, Dr. Curry was Johnny Depp team, Dr. Hughes was Amber Heard case. In case that you haven't seen it, waiting for the weekend, Dr. Curry was saying that Amber have borderline and histrionic personality, and we're not going to explain that because instead to talking like a lot of channels talking about things that you guys don't know, bring experts to talk about the respect for the audience. Guys, and you as an audience, go with people who bring experts to talk about things we don't know about everything. We're good in behavior, but what we don't know, we bring people. So respect to the audience. So Dr. Hughes says, Dr. Carey says, histrionic borderline, no PTSD. Dr. Hughes says, no borderline, no histrionic, only PTSD, but they agree that Amber have PTSD before because her father is a range alcoholic. Actually, no former, actual alcoholic. You always ended up when you start. But when we talk about Amber, when I talk about that. So only to get context for the people who maybe cannot follow up all this craziness, that would happen.
Yes. So I think that's for me was like, okay, really? So you cannot talk about that before you're talking about the case. You are talking about the definitions, the meaning, the concepts, what you do with whom you do it. So you cannot put the name between lines before talking the case.
Simple. Dr. Curry says, abuser, perpetrator. Dr. Hughes, he, men. Dr. Curry, identifying the victim. The victim. Dr. Hughes, identifying the victim. She, women. One of the things that, again, they cross-examined Dr. Hughes and they asked, okay, have you ever worked testifying on a case where the women abuse the men? I work on the same-sex abuse relationship. I work with kids, but she couldn't cross-examine. Come on, that is the easy cross-examination ever to destroy the testimony. She was likable. She was doing all the things right, but she wasn't prepared for questions that is not on her scope.
No, I agree with you. It's like
that's the reason you need to prepare expert. That is the reason that you need to be on top of them. It's one of the most difficult prep that we have done. Elva, it's difficult to prep experts.
It's difficult because they have their own language, their own words to use, and they want to be stick with that, and because that's the way that it needs to be saying. But no, it's not the way. That's why we use face reading too. Why? Because yes, you have the technical language, but no, not everyone is going to get it. Based on what we can do the face reading, and based on the face reading, we can tell you how you can arrange this speech to lower and to be talk and understanding in the way it should be.
one of the things that we says when we do a prep trial, it's funny because we take like 2 months of prep, and the last week everybody go closing, because until we don't have the jurors, we don't do the final preps, because it's about the jurors and how you need to talk to them. The lawyer can be beating you and hitting you in the face, but what Elba and I would do is like, okay, she takes 6 jurors, I take 6, depending. Sometimes in high volatile cases, you have 18, you know that? You have 6 jurors. There are the backup sitting on the waiting room, and they need to go through all the trial. The only difference is they're not going to have the chance to go at the end and says, I think is guilty or not. So we read all the faces and says, okay, Elba, you take 6, I take 6, do your profiling. Let's do the profiling of the person who is a client, lawyer, witness, or expert. And we go and say and explain to the person like, okay, whatever you do, don't do it. I need you to do the opposite. Why? Because you're going to clash with 90% of the jurors. And if we have 90% who like you, the 10% who doesn't like you is going to switch the idea, because the other one are going to push it. So it's not to teaching people how to lie. It's to teach people how to tell the story based on what the people want to listen to. And in this case, I think both fail at some point. But yes, if I need to lean for a testimony who was less aggressive, less biased, and more approachable, I would go with Dr. Curry. Even though, dude, who is we have our lovely Law Don, who at the end, we didn't bring him because we know it's going to be a long show, but makeup, hair, and how you present yourself is as important as what you says. We don't want to be superficial, but we need to understand, if we put Dr. Huge presentation physically with Dr. Curry talking, whoever did that would have won. Elba?
Yes, I agree with you. It's like we need to understand that we need to deliver the information as the way the other person is going to understand it, not as the way that I get it. Because it's one thing, we intake, process, and communicate the information in a different way. So we need to find the common denominators so we can put the speech and you can say the speech as the way that everyone is going to get it.
And to talking about what is histrionic and borderline and PTSD, we have an expert, and I'm going to read her name because I'm not an expert reminding names. So Lisa Aranas is a licensed clinical professional counselor who, by the way, have a law degree too. So when she explained what she does and about these pathologies and personality disorders, she can talk from the legal aspect too. Again, it's going to be almost 20 minutes or something, but I would say, since you're spending so much time in the media, learn a little what it means, how they can be find out, and the most important, nobody talk about it, but there is treatment for this thing. So don't let other people label you. If anybody had tell you you're histrionic, borderline, or PTSD, it's not a label. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for being with us today.
Hi, Susan. Thanks for having me.
Well, you have 2 combinations regarding this case, and we're going to talk about general terms, but you have a law degree and a degree in licensed clinical professional counselor. And I think that is a beautiful combination to have in this case, because we have the law instance that we have lawyers in this show talking about what is defamation, what are the basis for the defamation case. And the other aspect is the experts that have been talking about PTSD, histrionic personality, borderline personality. She had it, no have it, he's aggressive, she's aggressive, gender bias. And I want somebody who have both worlds to explain us first in human lame terms, what is histrionic personality and what is borderline personality disorder?
Okay, I will give it a whirl. All right, so histrionic personality disorder it's really marked by unstable emotions, really distorted self-image. And the very key piece is this overwhelming desire to be noticed. They're very, very uncomfortable when they're in a setting where they are not being noticed. So there's criteria. I can list through the criteria to be diagnosed with that. There's this mental health of diagnostic. I'm saying that wrong. See, that's how humanized I am. So it goes through all these symptoms of what the pieces of the behavior that you would look for to see if someone has HPD, we'll call it HPD for short. So here they are: feeling underappreciated or depressed when they're not the center of attention, having rapidly shifting and shallow emotions, be dramatic and extremely emotionally expressive, even to the point of embarrassing friends and family in public, have a larger than life presence, be persistently charming or flirtatious, be overly concerned with their physical appearance, use their physical appearance to draw attention to themselves by wearing bright colored clothing or revealing clothing, act inappropriately sexual with most of the people they meet, even when they're not sexually attracted to them, speak dramatically and express strong opinions, but with few facts or details to support their opinions, be gullible and easily influenced by others, especially by the people they admire, think that their relationships with others are closer than they usually are, have difficulty maintaining relationships, often seeming fake or shallow in their interactions with others, need instant gratification and become bored or frustrated very easily, constantly seek reassurance or approval. And the last one, extreme attention seeking behavior in people with HPD may involve frequent suicidal threats and gestures. So
now,
go ahead.
Lisa, the first thing that had coming in my mind, I'm sure most of the audience too, is what happened with all the TikTokers, YouTubers, and Instagram people that you see them living a life for attention externally, when actually we have cases of people who says like, oh, I have 2 million followers, I'm amazing. And they're over showing, over cleavage, over taking pictures next to a Ferrari when they actually live in a shoebox. So the first thing coming in my mind is like, go to Instagram and you have the HPD all over the
Everywhere.
place.
That's a great question. So this has to be pervasive. It has to be everywhere in your life. And it has to really affect your life to the point where it disturbs your ability to function and be successful in life, as in all mental health issues. So I can get on Instagram and TikTok and be really revealing in that little corner of my world, which I don't, of course. But in my professional life, I'm just fine. And I show up as a professional. So this is, when they say it's a personality disorder, this is how you show up everywhere.
So somebody told me one time, a profiler from the FBI who treat people who has been rapers or serial killers, says it's not the glitch or the glimpse of the diagnostic that you can have, it's the persistent on that. Everybody in our life, to survive or go through different things in our life, we can become narcissists, we can over need it, but we use those tools to survive or go through certain situations in our life. The problem is when those instances are in your life permanently and become the motto or the modus operandi every day in your life.
And so most people who are going to develop into a personality disorder have been in some sort of family environment or environment where their needs weren't met, anywhere from physical harm to emotional abandonment and abuse by people who were supposed to be your caregivers and show you love and attention, and that you are a person of significance. And if you ask me, Susan, this is the core of everyone. Like literally every single human being has this need to not know they're loved, but feel that they're loved. And when things happen and they don't feel that, they start to put up walls and they develop all ways of trying to cope and protect themselves from not feeling this. So then, yes, you can begin to develop this way of being in the world which looks then like this is just how you are, i.e. the personality disorder.
Yeah, and the next one that I want to talk is BPD, borderline personality disorder. And in the last couple of years, I hear more about this diagnostic than I never heard before. The DSM-5 has changed a lot of the criteria, and we're not going to go to the too technical because it's that for helping people to understand what they're talking in this lawsuit. But I have people who come to me and says, well, I feel like this is like the new color on the clothing, because this year everything is going to be green. Everybody going to need to be wearing green. So now that everybody is diagnosed with BPD, everybody need to be treated. So it's a major tendency before we talk what is BPD.
Sure. So BPD, sort of like the histrionic, there's a lot of emotional swings, intense behavior. I think one of the key pieces of borderline is this fear of abandonment. And a very key piece is they can flip between seeing somebody as like literally the best thing since sliced bread to I hate you, I despise you, you are the worst person on the planet. So that's their core wound is this fear of abandonment. So then they do, similar to histrionic, they're also looking for attention. But they have a very difficult time regulating their emotions. They're very impulsive. Relationships, so kind of unlike the histrionic, and we could talk about a little how they overlap, but their borderline relationships are very
I love you too soon. I hate you too soon either. Too soon to be God.
Yes, and you go back and forth in this it's very up and down. It's like a roller coaster. If you're having a relationship with somebody with a borderline, it's very up and down.
Now you says that can intercollide. How and why?
So, some research, some people are arguing that these two separate personality disorders should really be just one. And it's really a variety or intensity of the different symptoms that are showing up. So that, there's a lot of overlap. So the overlapping parts would be the rapidly shifting and reactive emotions, the impulsivity, strong expression of emotion, attention-seeking behavior, tendency to manipulate. So those are overlapping. But given how the diagnosis is, I think one thing that really does separate them is the histrionic is the discomfort with not being the center of attention, where the borderline is more about the fear of abandonment. So again, when you take those key pieces, they're like, for example, in the histrionic, they talk very much about the provocative behavior, the sexual behavior, not so much necessarily in the borderline, but they will do behavior, clingy behavior, desperate behavior to get attention. But the sexual thing is not necessarily the biggest thing or a thing as it has been when they talk about histrionic.
Oh, and how PTSD get any role in this? Because the concept most people have about PTSD is rape, accidents, coming from a war zone and coming back to the civilian world. But now we hear that PTSD, it's something that can happen when you have a personal experience that can be emotional or physical in your own personal life and relationship with others, or growing up with a complicated situation. So it's a correlation if you have histrionic and borderline that can lead to PTSD as the person who's diagnosed with?
Thank you for asking the question. It would be the other way around. So yes, you explained PTSD quite well, but there is this another diagnosis that we don't recognize yet. The WHO, International World Health Organization, recognizes something else called CPTSD, chronic post-traumatic stress syndrome, or some people call it childhood post-traumatic stress syndrome. Whereas PTSD can be from a single event, like you said, a rape, someone shooting you, or you go to war. see PTSD is based on the idea that you're living in an environment for a long time, months, years, like years, where your emotional needs are not met. So anywhere, again, from abuse to neglect, parents abandoning their children, or an alcoholic home where people don't really feel safe. They're walking on eggshells all the time. What's going to happen? Is my father going to blow up? Is my mother going to blow up? Are they coming home? So it's kind of the opposite of a safe, warm, healthy, nurturing environment. Not that. So depending on how extreme it is from not having that, people then start to develop all kinds of ways to literally feel safe. And I would argue that this piece here, this not getting your needs met, not feeling safe, gives rise to mental health diagnoses. I can give you for an example, ADD, a simple one, and that's you can't stay focused on what's going on right now. So imagine you're living in an environment, in a home, where there's a lot of yelling going on, a lot of physical stuff going on between your parents, and you're fearful, but you can't leave the home. One of the things that your brain might start to do is get distracted. So you're presently there, but your brain is somewhere else. You're out in the park playing, you're daydreaming, you're something. We can call that ADD eventually, but we can also say this was a way that someone learned how to cope because they literally couldn't physically get out of the house and feel safe. So their minds went somewhere else. And I can say that for a lot of different things as well, but that's just a very simple example to explain how we start developing all ways of interacting with our environment so that we can get our needs met. So let's say histrionic. If you don't feel like you matter, that you're being ignored, now what are we going to do? Well, I want attention. How am I going to get it? Let me be a big personality. Let me be sexually provocative. Maybe I saw somebody being sexually provocative in my house and that got attention. So whoops, I learned something. Let me go do that out there so I can get attention. It's literally all about trying to get this basic need filled, that I am a somebody. That's it.
A great book that I read a long time ago about BPD, borderline personality disorder, is Stop Walking on Eggshells.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good book for the lay people to understand and not to get confused about what is BPD. I think it's really well done. And if you don't like reading it, you have an Audible too.
I have not read that book, but I could see, because you never know when you're going to trip that person up. The slightest wrong comment or a look on your face or something, it can send these people off on a tailspin and they can just launch into you like there's no tomorrow. You don't want to deal with that. So you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, you need to be really careful when you're going out there. Now, I'm going to utilize your law degree and your professional counselor degree. And I will not going to ask you to make any opinion on the experts in this case, but in a regular case, when in my experience, when I prep experts, people says, why you need to prep an expert, why you need to prep a lawyer, because you can know a lot about what you know, but it's a difference between you knowing and you explaining in lame terms for other people to understand. So in this case, we have two experts. Both has been criticized for the ways, but I want to go to another level. When you're talking about diagnostic and labeling people, that is really risky when none of these experts has enough time that is considering to do a real diagnostic or have both parts present to see the real dynamic, because we know a lot of patients, when they come into therapy and when you have a lawsuit, things is going to be so publicly done, they're going to say what is convenient to them. Everybody does it. Hey, guilty too. So what I'm saying is, what are the risks to be clear when we talk about personality disorders and diagnostic? Because personally, I think that when you don't do that to the media and the jurors, what is going to happen, no matter what the judge says, they're going to Google terms. And when you go to the Google things, you can step in a lot of personal comments and not well-prepared diagnostic by professionals who knows what they're doing. So my question specific is, what are the risks to not inform people correctly about the diagnosis and the meaning of each diagnostic?
Okay, thank you. Great question. So you're tapping into my legal knowledge and full disclosure. Haven't practiced law, went to law school, but understand what goes on in a trial. So the idea is that the trial, your opponents, and as your lawyer and you're getting your expert witnesses, you want to explain everything in a way that is going to be biased for your client. That is what you're supposed to do. And if you don't do that, you're not doing your job as an attorney. So the problem then is when they're doing what they're doing and people are looking at this sort of stuff. Yes, you're right. You can get very misled, like what's really true. Now, as a clinician, right, and just as a human being, my preference is to help people see people as human beings. That is not the legal process necessarily. So when you,
I'm sorry, Lisa, can be beneficial for your case, because if you're trying to humanize your client, you need to bring an expert who can humanize with the jury. Because again, what do you think is one thing, but the jury, you're going to have people who, when it's a case so exposed, they're going to be Googling even before. Hey, everybody who's been in this jury has been Googling things. So when you have an expert who can connect with the jurors, make them feel the pain the client you're representing feeling,
yes,
an expert can kill. I would say, if you need to choose one person in a jury and a trial that can kill you, save you, is the expert.
Yeah, okay. I would agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. You can humanize your own client, but you're going to try to make the other one look like the bad person or the wrong person. And so what you're trying to do is, as if you're just a viewer, you want to be able to see, in my opinion, both people as human beings. So you want to go to, if you're going to find the diagnostic criteria, go to the sources, go to reputable sources to find out information. But I'm going to tell you this, it's almost impossible to read stuff. You almost have to experience some of this stuff to know what that's like. And one thing that we struggle with anyway, I might go off on a tangent here. One thing we struggle with in our society is really just recognizing that this behavior that we see on the surface is always like, in these cases especially, it's always just a symptom of a person's wounds. So if we can, and I'll go back to what I said earlier, if we can understand that really what has happened is this person is really struggling to be okay with themselves, then we lose the capacity to see them as a human being.
So Lisa, to wrap her up, for people who has been hearing all this terminology and they want to learn more, I'm sure there are societies and places where you can have the right information. What will be your advice for people who want to know more about the meaning and not to start diagnosing your partner and yourself? Because every time that I have a pimple on my face, I'm going to online only to prove me wrong. And I have cancer to I'm going to lose my face. And I got in this rampage, and sometimes by the time I make the appointment with the doctor, my pimple went away. It just was a pimple.
Yeah, okay. So that's even hard for me to answer. I would say like NAMI is a good resource. I mean, because they're really here to help people, support people with mental health.
And they have support groups, they have information, they have a newsletter, and it's free. The most important is free. And it's in any city and online. I love that group.
And what I like about them is they're trying to actually help people understand mental health from a human perspective. I love them. Other things, if you go to WebMD and the Mayo Clinic, and they'll give you the diagnostic criteria and all the stuff. And you can peg people in it all. But what's missing is the flavor, the context of what it really feels like. So Psychology Today, they often have some really good articles about things as well. But I'll tell you, even myself, when I'm trying to Google things, like I just go to different places and I can start to see this trend of what lots of people saying, I can see a very scientific way of looking at things, but again, I'm always looking from the human factor for it. So I'm looking for stuff that will help me understand what's the humanness behind it. And so after doing this like 20 something years at this point, Susan, when I said to you, I keep emphasizing, it's this wound that's inside. And this is the cause of all of this. That truly is what it is. So really what, at the end of the day, no matter what modality of treatment we're doing, if we can get to those core wounds and heal those, which we can, it's possible. The rest of this, I don't want to claim that we can get rid of all of it, but I can certainly say we can get a lot of improvement.
Do you can have treatment and HPD and BPD?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It used to be said that these are just things you manage, but it's shifting. There is definitely ways to improve, because again, if you go back to what's the core of it, right, which is this, I'm not okay, I need this attention, I need all of, you go back to, why does this person have this need? Why does even a narcissist have the need to manipulate people? That's just for them to feel better about themselves. So the core is, why don't they feel good about themselves? And you go back and you heal that piece. I'm not saying that's easy, but that really is the core.
I was looking for an expert on narcissists a couple of weeks ago, and I was told, you're not going to find an expert because narcissists, they don't look for treatment. Now, people with HPD and BPD, they're coming to therapy because they want to get better, or because their partners or family members drag them to therapy because they see the symptoms.
So histrionic people don't really see anything. They don't know that their behavior is not okay. So most of these people will come in, if they're going to come in, because of their problems that they're having, anxiety, depression, relationship problems. They're coming in for those reasons, not knowing that they have a personality disorder. So when you're working with them, you start to see this pattern and like, okay, this is what we're working with. And I hate plugging a diagnosis in somebody. Even when I'm working with a client, I hesitate to say something because of the very mere fact that they go online and they start Googling, and then they go, oh, I was going to swear. And I tend to not want them to do that. So what I'll say is, okay, you have this thing, right, just for purposes of discussion, but then I try to fully inform them. But I don't like to, I'll use a label just for a label, but I'm really explaining it from the human side. Like, this is what you're struggling with. This is why you do what you do. This is why you're so provocative. This is why you're doing this, is because you're trying to fill this need. And let's work on you filling this need within yourself.
Okay, to close this, Lisa, and I will keep talking forever, but I know the people short span is shorter.
Got it.
I would say personally 3 things, and you tell me if it's wrong or right, and what else you can is. If you have a doubt about yourself or a loved one, go to a licensed person who knows what they're doing. Don't go into the gurus in YouTube. Nothing wrong against that. We are on YouTube, but we bring experts to talk about things because I can know but not understand. Second of all, don't jump in conclusions for 3 steps. Go to the context, and the only people who can determine those things and help you with those things is people who's licensed. You can go to the holistic, you can go to the traditional, but go to people with certified, they know what they're talking about, and that you can trust. Not always gonna like your therapist, because part of the therapy is like collide and like, I hate you, and 2 days later, hey, I come back to therapy. But go to people that you can trust based on their knowledge and the background. Don't go to anybody who's selling you a free class online. Lisa?
Yes, I agree. All of the above, but I want to just say this, even with therapists, some therapists are not familiar and don't do the deep dive work, the all the way in the early years. So
that
you
put
really
Band-Aid.
you want to find someone who really understands this stuff.
Lisa, thank you very much for being here, and I'm sure we're going to have you back.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, love. any word of wisdom regarding what Lisa Aranas says? And by the way, Lisa, all your information is below. If you want to learn more about her, she is locally here in Chicago, the same way that Natalie Harris, the lawyer who is specialized in defamation and media. And Eric is actually in Virginia. I met him in person last August when I went to spend some time with Lena Cisco and her husband sailing and having fun. Words of wisdom, Elba, regarding medical. I will not going to open my mouth because I don't want to get sued defamation.
Okay, I just want to put one thing out there so you can do your own analyzing thing here. It's like she talks about Istronic and how the difference and things. Now, listen to Amber and listen when she's talking about a few things, like, for example, they were in I don't know, in a party or something, and they were taking drugs, mushrooms. And what thing that happened there, that the women that was there, Johnny Depp thinks that Amber and her was having something there.
But the stewardess or the party, because apparently it happened more than one time.
No, but that's why, because the second time happened in the flight.
Yeah, that's what I get confused.
So
yeah,
it's like, why everything needs to be about her and what people thinks about her. So I'm putting out there, just you can do your own analyzing and things and everything, but just listen on what she's saying, what she said, because it's got my attention. And when I listen everything and watch the video about Lisa and watch how she talks and how she defined. And then I was listening to the Amber's testifying. I was like, okay, everything needs to be, and it's like, I need to save him. He told me that I saved him. It's about her. It's about him. What is out there? So I leave it there. You can
talk about the couch, because if it's not, I'm gonna forget about it. You did a really good point about when she's testifying about the couch and the mention again. She has been trained a couple of months ago by the former Israeli military interrogator who bring a statement analysis to the United States. He's one of my mentors. I love him. I studied with him and I studied with Lena, and I love all the things that taught me. And now Elba is going through the same path, but she's going ballistic. Like, girl, I need to cut your candies. No more training for you. Because now, Susan, really, no, why you put this in this? Not like, Elba, let it go. Let it go. She's like kid with a new candy. So what happened with the couch love? So
it's funny.
Entertain our audience, please. Since
okay,
remember, this is funny place.
One thing here. When Amber started talking, testifying, the attorney start to get into the place that she can tell the story about them, right? Now, there was a movie, press, I don't know what,
Rum Diary.
Yes, that one.
That's the one. That's the way they met. That's the way they start dating.
It's like I was like, okay, they were in London, I think. And
I don't know. You were obsessed with the couch. I didn't.
And Johnny told Amber and said, okay, let's have a couple drinks and come to my room. Here's going to be the producer, and we are going to talk, the three of us. And okay. Then Amber get there, and Johnny said, the producer can make it, so we can stay here and talk. Listen. It
happened a couple of times, no? That he invited her saying that, oh, poor me. He was luring me to be with him when actually nobody else was there.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then she said, yeah, it's was like, we were in the couch. And I was like, okay, we having the drinks. Okay. 1 minute after, she said, and we were in the couch, and things happened, and we keep talking, and I left. And I was like, okay, by the way, sir, if you are looking at us, I had your words in my mind here. The location. What happened there? Why she needs to specify the couch twice?
Yeah, what happened on the couch? I think the couch was the beginning.
Yes,
that's where it happened. I think they have sex on the couch.
Me too. It's like, that's the point that I want you to get there, because they have sex there. Why the couch is important to her? Why she's giving those details there?
When you go through testimonies, like I love
and
Elba.
There's something about the couch, because she said it one more time. I don't remember, it was yesterday.
Oh, I caught you. You don't remember? Come on, get your things together. So
yeah, but it was too much for me, too much information to go around. And but she said it 3 times. So the couch is something for her.
That's the reason you have a profiler in the courtroom and reviewing the testimonies after when you do the transcript, because those are things that you need to pay attention. Elba apparently is going to be, even though English is not her first language, guess what? The one who developed a statement analysis, English is not his first language. Amino and Sapir, I'm going to say it, I adore him. He is my mentor. He teaches everybody else how it's get done. He is the father of this since 1987. So if you says you do a statement analysis and you didn't study with him, I doubt it. He's the one. So I think you're going to be leaning more to the statement and words. I'm going to keep it on my face reading because it's easy for me. But that's the reason you need to have an expert. We are not selling our service. Believe me, we are booked until 2023. And I shouldn't have said believe me, because that looked like it's not true. But we are booked until March 2023. So we're not taking any more cases. We're not taking any legal prep. We are overbooked. We don't have enough trainers and our team to do it. I'm just explaining to you so you can learn on the process, wasting your time going through this. You need to have somebody like that, because it's not only the prep, again, it's the during and it's the after. Lawyers make mistake, witness, clients, and expert. And words so subtle, like you say that you have another note. I never defend my dad until then, or after that, what she said, until that time, meaning that it's a break on the story, a before and after. So before that, she was supposed to be a doormat. After that, she wasn't a doormat anymore. Now, the incident with the finger and the escalation of the aggression happened after that. That's the reason you need somebody on your team when you're going through, because those are the things the lawyers miss it. Nobody reboot on that question. No, nobody did a cross-examination on those things. Like, why are you going through the couch again? Why you say that? Nothing happened, because they miss it.
But for her, it's important, because when she let it out, it's important for her. So it's something to pay attention. And now I have one thing here. Okay.
Only one? Wow. Surprise.
You know, it's remember when Johnny Depp testifying, he refers to her like Miss Amber. What happened?
Miss Heard.
Sorry.
I know where you're coming from. I know where you're going, because I got it too.
And now she refers to him the first 3 times as my ex-husband. And then she switches and put Johnny.
Because she was so coach that she like, oh, no, I'm going to call her my ex-husband. I'm going to put distant. Actually, I call my ex-husband, my former husband. And Lena says, oh, I didn't know that you was in a relationship. Like, what are you talking, Lena? And says, well, my former, meaning that he was replaced. I'm like, Lena, I love you the same way I hate you.
Yeah. But yes, that's the way we go again. You need to be prepared.
Yeah.
You need to be coherent with the things. Misheard every time. Now my ex-husband and then Johnny. So yeah.
Okay. Ready to go to the last one. This is the longest show we ever did, ever. but we love it. It's so much information, and I'm so happy if you're still watching or watching in parts. We wanted to show you the behind the scene with what happened in a lawsuit, the comment, the things that maybe you're missing, and now you can start paying attention. And I hope you never need to go to court, but if you need to, this is an court expert witness lawyer 101, how not to get in jail. So outfits. And I'm sorry, Elba, because yesterday it says, hey, Elba, I need all the pictures of the outfit to put on the presentation. Like, how the heck am I going to do that? Like, honey, I'm working on a case. Go for it. So
yeah.
sorry,
And by the
love.
way, don't worry, but I can tell you to everyone too, there's some pictures that were hard to find because I don't know if there's so media and there a lot of people out there just taking pictures. Why they don't take good pictures?
Because everybody's on the rush. By the way, who told this woman that you leave the label on the suit when she was sponsored? This is etiquette. It's like when you have a suit and a coat and you have an X where the cutting is on the suit, on the coat, and nobody cut it, and you leave it. It's the same way. That is to let you know that the coat doesn't hang it, doesn't shaggy when it's on the hanger, but you need to take it off. So that is the reason I review people before to go to court to make sure these shoes, the shininess, too much jewelry, take it off. Plastic is not working. Your frames, I know, I need all your frames. We're gonna get you new frames. These, it looked like somebody's advertisement, your wardrobe. First day her in court, get what she was. Both have sponsors, both, I swear to God, and again, an evoking religion. Why I do that? I know I shouldn't be doing that. Okay, I swear to God, Elba, worse. I didn't saw that, but now that I see it, first day in court, you have a suit who love the suit. I would keep it with that style, but have a branding. So, but I mean, somebody's sponsoring you, your dressing code during this week. You see here, Elba?
Yes.
Really bad choice. Really bad choice. Now, him, I love it. He is Johnny Depp. Her has nothing to do with she is.
Okay, let's put one thing here. I want you guys pay attention to two things. Let's pay attention to how he dressed, how his hair is, and the colors he used. And to her, pay attention to the colors and the hair too. So we are going to talk about this, I think, when we finish the days, but pay attention to that.
Hey,
the jury.
Yeah, that's things something. And what they carry, Brad Pitt. Oh,
no.
Maybe that's the next one. Maybe that's the next one. I'm tired, honey. I fall asleep on the couch. My neck hurts. I don't know how. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, they fixed the problem before they go to court. But yeah, couldn't be him. So he's always carrying something small. Yeah, let it go. Let it go. I'm tired. He's always carrying something smaller, and his hands with both hands, putting a barrier in front of him because he doesn't like this exposure. This is not him. He's a highly introvert, highly shy person who doesn't like all this circus. She is carrying a big brief with all the documents. I know what I'm talking about. Like,
yes,
you're not a lawyer. Like, and by the way, this type, it's crazy that she talked about on the first and second day. Remember, this is recorded the third day of her depot before we go into 1 week on the recess, where she is like, he was criticizing the way I was dressing. He was telling me that I was too revealing, this, and this. She have a pattern of dressing, and he have a pattern of dressing. He has been formal and well-dressed in some events. He had been wasted, dead drunk in another event too, but she never dressed the way she dressed in court. It's impossible then one juror haven't Googled her and they don't know how she dressed. She's too masculine, too aggressive. She changed her hairdo every day. When Johnny Depp, no Brad Pitt, I almost says the same. Johnny Depp have a more coherence. He is what he is, and just take a couple of rings away. But she even talked about the amount of rings that he have and how afraid she was about it. He keep it. Elba?
Yes, I agree with you. And that's how, okay, that's how you can see how a person is coherent of what he tries to put out there and what they are, what really are. So, okay, the colors there look like the same one. But with her, just the day one, we go the day one to day two, we can see a difference, even the hair.
Yeah. Anything else on the hairdo? You want to go to this third day?
Let's go to the third day.
Okay. Hairdo, they're both really well get together. We are not complaining about or criticizing the way they dress. What we're saying is one of them is coherence with the way they are. The other one has nothing to do. And there were a lot of suspicions and comments on the media about she matching what he's wearing. We're not going to go there. It's more about why you need to have a stylist when you go to court to an exposed case. Again, the movie is called Johnny versus Amber. This is a movie and you are the audience, even though you don't pay the ticket. And now we go into a better. What is the perception you have about her, Elba, as a woman? She's approachable, innocent, or she's a ice freaking queen?
She's a queen. She's not approachable. It's like, for me, it's like that. It's like, she's not approachable. She looks like she needs to be the queen, the center of the attention. It's, yeah, for me, I like some things, but I think that she's not using the same, like the pattern. So, no. And you know what? One thing that got my attention of her, especially when she was testifying, the chin goes up. So she's not approachable. She needs to be the queen there.
We were supposed to have a Botox specialist because there are some people saying that where she have scars on the face, that she had the bruises, are where you can have Botox scars. We use Botox and fillers when we have people in court. Yes, that can happen. I saw it. That's the reason we get our people to do Botox 10 days before they go to court in case they have bruises. They need to stay on the institution. They need to have a shot test 3 months or 4 months before they go to court to make sure they are not allergic to Botox. Again, you don't have an idea how many things going when you need to put a movie like this on the court. Okay, next one. She looked like more like a lawyer, like than the victim.
Like she's going to defend herself, like she's the one that knows. And no.
Who told you? And by the way, for the people who is complaining about Johnny Depp using shaded glasses, in one eye he's almost blind. So please get your facts ready, because I hear even lawyers saying like, how the judge allow it? What is this happening? Dude, get your fact together, because it's almost blind. So people who's almost blind, they do that. So when you're almost blind, one of your eyes, the one who's debilitated, the nerve are debilitated, tend to do this. And it's distracted. So in order to balance your brain, because your brain is going crazy when one of the eyes doesn't work, is help you to ease. And remember, the difference between a stage and this scenario is nothing. The lighting, the talking, everything is like scenario. So he need to be having like shaded glasses. I had it when I spent too many hours on a computer on too many Zoom meetings. I tend to have the shaded glasses because they help me. Again, she looked like a lawyer. He looked like Johnny Depp. He had more a consistency on the wardrobe
Yes.
Then she have elbow.
And his hair. You can see sometimes he doesn't have a ponytail. Sometimes he had a ponytail. So if you can see him, how he dressed until now, the only thing that can disrupt your vision, your view, it's his tail. Because he is like that.
He even used the same earrings.
Yes.
Look on day 5, and we talk about the earrings on the sides of the ears. We did it on the last show, and we did it with Eric on Monday. You can see it's consistency. Now I'm gonna go to the end. Sorry, I'm excited. Same earrings for him, same hairdo, same style of suit, same tattoos exposed, same rings, same glasses. You take her. I know you love her to death, so I'm gonna let you do her.
It's okay. The hair is not the same. And day 7, it's like in the tail. Okay, I know that maybe it's the styles, or I don't know.
What is the oh my God, I forgot. I have a big lagoon in my brain. Oh my God, the thing is going here. No, the umbrella. I was supposed to say umbrella.
No.
Oh my God. The tie. Oh my God, Susan, I use tie. So my parents, my father used to show me pictures about my family. My father was Calabrese from Italy. So he used to show me, okay, it's time to go for me to go to sleep, tired. He used to teach me and show me how my roots and my family come from and the way they dress. And the Sicilian mafia and the Calabrese mafia was wearing like she's wearing on the day 7. Jacket, vest, shirt, no tie. And she's wearing a pinstripe suit. He's too, but he's coherent with the way he dressed. He never wore this outfit without tie, but she's wearing the same outfit that he is wearing without tie, and finished and done. I'm the mafia. I'm the boss. I'm in control. Like, really?
Yes. And it's funny, you cannot see it here because it was so hard to find a picture, but you can see the video. Day 7, you can look her outfit. Now, day 8, she's using a scarf. How do you call that? It's
say it in Spanish.
I forget the word. Falda.
Oh, skirt.
She was using a skirt. And it's like, really? She's not coherent with the thing that she's wearing.
No consistency. There's no consistency on her dressing.
She changes all the time.
Yeah, it's like, actually it's consistent with the diagnosis of Dr. Perry. Thank you, Train, again.
That's the point that I want you to look, because it's coherent. Because it's not consistency. And what happened when everyone has a style. Me, I love my Converse. You are going to see me in Converse as many times as I can.
I do know that.
I know that sometimes I need to change, but I have a way to dress. You are going to identify that. But what happened when someone, it's not consistent with that? What can happen in her mind, for example? There are things that don't make sense here.
No, they don't. Okay, to make a break. Face Reading Profiling Pro 6-month class with 2-year support, homework, group coaching, recorded, and you can send the questions in advance. It's going to be replicated in video and audio. If you want to learn how to get the world in your hand, give us a call. Go to the link below, go and explore. We have all the information. Why? Because if you're tired of nobody paying attention, you're not closing the deal, you're not making the money you deserve, people is not paying attention to you, is because of you not giving the right message on the way the other people need to receive it. It's not about you, it's about the others. And it's nothing more powerful or more exciting, the feeling that you can get and anybody head in 90 seconds. Why? Because we teach you how to read everybody in 90 seconds. Believe me, we can do that. I can bet you money we do that.
Yes.
And if you're not up to for 6 months of class and put in too long time, we have 10 features in 10 days. In 2 weeks, we're going to teach you how to do the basic face reading. And again, you're going to still be able to read everybody in 90 seconds. You're going to have all the other benefits, just you're going to have less features, because in this one, you're going to have 10 features in 10 days. The other one is 65 features, 12 already done profiles of the most common profiling things that you need to do with people. Some of those profiles have 3 features. Some of those profiles have 6. It's way more complex how to talk to them, how to sell. But if you don't want to go through that, you have 10 features in 10 days. Whatever is they decide to take it, we cannot wait to see you there. Why? Everybody need help. Remember, from all the behavioral channels, this is the longest. Tell me something who has been around or that has been around for 5,000 years, and I'm going to give up. But in the meantime, face reading profiling is the one.
Yes.
Go back to dressing. But again, I need to say something. From all the clothing from them, if I need to choose one suit or one dress for Amber, I would keep it with day 10.
Day 10. I do the same. Even the hair. Everything, I think in that point, that was the day she used more the glasses. So I think that one is a really good one for her.
As a woman, if you want to be seen as trustful, believable, intelligent, and at the same time approachable, glasses, makeup, and pearl. And she did that almost, I would tone it down a little, tone it up, actually up. Do a little more makeup. I'm not wearing any makeup. The only makeup, oh yeah, wait, I did my eyebrows today. I don't know what happened. I did my eyebrows and my lips, but beside that, I don't wear makeup. You're gonna see my face all the time, all the way. Good lighting, good skincare, good stylist, and taking care, and cosmetologist taking care of my face. That's what I do. And she's 35, turning just 36. So her skin is amazing. She should have a little more blush and look more feminine, not so hard, but it's almost there. From all the looks, these and the last day when she testified to me are the best. Elva?
Yeah, I agree with you because it's like she had been wearing like dark colors and gray and blue and black, and now she's like something like white. It's like, okay, what's going on here? You don't have the consistency. But yeah, I agree with day 10 and the last day. I think those two are the most like she can be used. She can wear that ones because she looks more like likable, approachable, not more the queen position.
Yeah, about him,
like I told you, the only thing that I can see about him, it's you can see the hair. I like because it's sometimes he doesn't have a ponytail and sometimes he had it. But the thing that he changed, it's her how we call it?
the tie or the
tie. Because the I think the colors are like the same, dark, blue, gray, black. So he's more consistent.
Yeah, he always says to someone who's gonna go to court, never wear a red or blue tie if they're not combining both colors, because you can give the impression you're Republican or Democrat. Those are the things people don't understand about court prep. It's more than
you see him and then in day 10.
Yeah,
it's like
people think it's only to teach you. We're gonna teach you how to lie. Like, no, it's way more complex. Teach you how to lie. Everybody can do it. To teach you and go through the colors and the perception of the colors and how you need to proceed yourself is a completely different story. Okay, before we go into the first depot, day 11 for her, I think was better. And day 11 for her and for him, I like it. It's look more British and sophisticated. But what happened with her in day 12? She's mimicking what he's wearing?
Yes, you see that? I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
What the heck?
I don't know. It's like something with this, because I don't know if the coaches are like what are telling her, but you cannot mimic someone. It's like you don't.
You want to do the opposite.
Yeah, you go to the other side. You keep that distance and that difference between the two of you. But
I want you to pay attention to this picture, day 12 from Johnny Depp. Are you paying attention to day 12 here? Okay.
yes.
Day 14. Okay.
Yes.
Again, she's wearing what it would be considered a tuxedo without the bow tie or the regular tie. And I'm tired, you're tired. This is a 3-hour show. I'm sure the audience is tired. I did know that she is going to be testifying. Look on her face, day 13 makeup, and look on the day 14 makeup.
Even
We should have done that the live that day.
Look, even the earrings, it's different.
And I hate pin suit again, pinstripe shirt, no tie. She looked like a lawyer. She looked too bossy, no feminine, no approachable. I'm in control. I am the bitch. I am the boss. I'm the mafia. I'm the one who's going to be doing, make it happen. No makeup. Feel sorry for me. Nothing. Elba?
No, nothing. It's like, it's funny because I don't know why some days she put like more likable and more approachable, but I can tell you like 80% of the days she's looking like this. No approachable. She's not like, she's the one like, I'm the boss here. I'm going to give the orders here. And why? And when I saw her testifying in day 14, and I remember him on day 12, it's like, really? You need to do that when you are going to testify and tell your story?
Again, I want to know who has been the stylist consultant, the makeup consultant, and the trial science coach that she was using to make sure that I never use it ever if I need to encounter. And I hope nobody have put money on promoted their clothing through Amber Heard on the jury, because it's going to be the worst promotion ever. She looked too masculine. She doesn't look approachable. Again, it's not to be vain. We're talking about the things that nobody else talk, the things they need to get prepared for the court. Now, finally, she looked like she need to be looking for the hair, the dressing, no makeup still. It's too much different. If you had been wearing makeup before you testify, why you're not wearing makeup when you testify? Actually, they're missing something. Do you know what is my theory? Because she cannot cry, if they put mascara, it's not going to be running on the face. If you can really cry, I would put mascara, because it's going to be running on your face and the effect will be amazing. But because she's not able to, we didn't see any tears on her. That's the reason she's not wearing makeup. I would put a couple of years of salary on. I think that is the theory. Elba?
Yeah, it's crazy because she cannot cry. She cannot cry. And it's funny because she has clinics there. And she uses voice.
I'm so sad. It's the pollen. The allergies are killing me.
And the way that she cleaned up is no. I was like, really? And I zoomed the thing because I want to see if she was crying. And no.
That's the reason I have an 80-inch TV on my office downstairs, because when that happened, like, I'm glued to the TV. I have friends like, Susan, are you losing your sight? Like, I want to know if that is a tear or a wrinkle.
Yeah, I think for the dressing part in this day, she was really good because she looks like she percept like she wants to be like.
Even though it look a little messy, the bow is not defined. The sleeves are longer than the jacket. And if you don't have a blowfish sleeve like this, you see this is a blowfish sleeve. So if you put a jacket here, what you're going to have is a blowfish on the top of. So what I did is I put a bracelet. You do this. That is, I'm not a stylist. We work with one that help us to go through this. But the sleeve look like uneven. The neck is like, it's not defined. It's not a bow. It's not hanging, and it's have more than 2 tiers. But from all the things, you know what? Somebody told me this morning, she looked like more Maria Magdalena, the Virgin Mary, when Christ was crucified. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, it looked like all the hanging tears is like, okay, yeah, more Maria Magdalena than Virgin Mary. Like, I'm gonna put it out there, guys. What do you think?
Yes. For my opinion, I think the same. Yes.
Naughty girl. Okay, I'm tired. I still need to edit the show because something that you don't know, guys, Elva and I, we edited our own material. Yeah, we're control freaks. Elva, I'm sure you got in a lot of trouble today. If people want to connect with you so you can avoid them, where they can write to you?
You can go to elva@humanbehaviorlab.com. And for you, Susan?
I'm going to avoid you, except that it's a client. You can go Susan@humanbehaviorlab.com. Okay, love, this has been the longest show we ever have done, but I think it was important to show people what happened behind the scene, the pre, during, and again, I cannot wait to do the after. I'm tired to listen to lawyers and people talking about the same things. I think it was important for you guys, our audience, because at the end of the day, it's about you. Because of you, decided we're having a lot of fun doing this, is to teach you and show you what are the things. So if you ever under this situation, you know what to do. Thank you, Train. Got it again. Go away. God. And to show you how everything that you think that maybe is a mistake or it's, oh, just happened. No, it just doesn't happen. It was premeditated. They did it for a purpose. The color, the jewelry, the hair, the avoiding makeup like she did. So when she cried, people cannot realize that actually she is not crying. Elva?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like, this is for you guys. And this is to put it in a way that, like we said, no one say it before. No one talks about this. And it's good for you to see how you need, again, to be prepared for everything you need to.
And I cannot wait so we can have a normal show next week. And we're going to be talking about Elon Musk. Love, next week. At this time, we're going to be doing the show together because you're going to be local in Chicago. I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait until next week. Guys, have fun and be safe.